It should
The
be...
light is green now.
Okay, it should be in the middle.
Oh.
Just so that, because the right has a weird...
Okay, yeah, it's in the middle.
Hi, guys. Can you hear us? Can we be heard? Are we heard? I'm home from work at long last. Perfect timing, Ellery.
Oh, no sound. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
We've become one of those people.
Okay, I can hear. No, I just forgot to turn it back on. I was like, I know I'm forgetting something.
Oh, I have to do my apology again. Hello, everyone. I have had a long and severe lapse in judgment because earlier in the first stream, I mentioned that Abigail had ginger hair and why would Tyra be so mean to all the gingers? But I was later corrected and Abigail actually is not a ginger. She is a brunette, I believe. And so I do apologize to members of the non-ginger community that were offended by my statement.
How could you?
I'm sorry.
I was telling Gabe I'm surprised that he retained as much information as he did because my brain is just kind of like mushy.
I can bounce back pretty quickly. I have a very bad memory sometimes, so I just kind of forget stuff, and I'm like, I feel great after all that.
Tyra's shutting down the stream because we're all bashing it. She's like, this stream specifically.
And it's like, of all the people who have mentioned, and it's like, of all the people that mentioned their book, scrolling down, it's like five videos. This is the one that she targets.
Because she can.
Oh, yay, and Ellery is back home from work.
Yay. Ellery, I don't even know how to summarize what you were not here for. It's so much and also nothing at the same time.
Yeah, we're getting like back, like Tookie, no one likes her except for maybe what's his name? Something Phileas? Theophilus? Is that his name? Except for like Theophilus. Except for Theophilus and Wingtip. And Lizzie. Those are the only three people that like tolerate Tookie, and everyone else is mean or oblivious.
Tookie is kind of terrible though. Like she's just like, oh my god, I have heterochromia.
Oh god,
so different.
My two differently colored eyes. It was established last stream she is heterophobic. So, well, I didn't say it. Someone in the chat said it. I'm just repeating now. She's funny. Heterophobic. And she's just like, oh, look at the child laborers, whatever. Oh, look at the homelessness, whatever.
But my eye color being different.
That's the only reason why people don't like me.
Yeah.
Hi, Darcidius.
Hello, welcome back. Oh my god. So when we left off, we were 108 pages in, and she had literally just been selected.
Yep, spoiler. She's been selected to be part of to be taken to Modelland to eventually graduate and be an Intoxibella. Oh, and someone said that Intoxibellas are 18, so...
Okay. Well, at least there's that.
Yeah, at least there's that.
I'm ready for more chaos.
We are too.
We are too. No, we joke about it, but this is actually very fun. I'm very glad that we did this. I won't speak for Gabe in case Gabe is just like regretting all of his life choices, but I'm glad we did this.
I'm glad we did this too. Also subscribe to my channel, Gabriel Kustick.
Oh,
LinkedIn.
Did I pin it?
Oh, did you?
Did I pin it? I'm not
no.
seeing it pinned. Hang on, guys. Let me pin it, and then you can subscribe.
Please subscribe to my channel. There's Jurassic Park stuff and anime stuff, and a picture of a dog and a thumbnail to pique everyone's interest.
Your dog is really cute.
Yay! His name is Cooper, and he's adorable.
Oh. Spencer walks two dogs, and their names are two of the dogs he walks are Cooper and Winston.
Oh, my neighbor had a dog named Winston. He was a little Scottish Terrier.
Oh, I love Scotties.
So my dad, when he was younger, had 2 Scottish Terriers.
Oh, they're so cute. I know. I don't want to search the downloads. I want to search the channels.
Oh, and
YouTube.
And I'm drinking some tea, and I'm making sure the Ginger Tom cat image is prominently on display. I can't show it to this camera, or else it'll be like. Psh,
you'll have to chug it all out and then be like, oh, behold.
the Ginger Tom cat.
Oh, if you need more water at some point in the stream, I can go and get you more water too.
It's okay. I have my tea now.
Okay.
Everything should be fine. Thank you.
All right.
Be prepared for toddler level writing on body horror.
Ugh.
Oh.
Oh
yeah, there's a lot of content warnings up just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
The shh has been mentioned a few times, so it's just like why? And it came out of nowhere.
This book gets so dark so quickly, and it's written like it's for 8-year-olds.
Yeah, like you read the cover that I read dramatically earlier, and it's just like, oh, and there's also, wasn't there the point where it's just like, what happens to those who don't make it? Well, no one really speaks of that. Some things are better left unsaid. Thrown into a world where she doesn't seem to belong, blah blah. And it's just like, anyway, she's thrown into a new world.
A whole new terrifying world.
of interesting made up words. Some of them French, some of them English, some of them just vowels.
Just vowels.
Excuse me.
My phone is pretending like it doesn't know what the internet is, and I'm like, come on, internet.
Or side note with the summer vowels, that reminds you of in season 15 of RuPaul's Drag Race with Anitra and her talent shows. She's like, Anitra, that's Enetra, 6 letters and 3 vowels.
Have they met the purses? No, we have not met the purses yet.
Oh, the purses.
Oh boy.
America's Next Top Model may be coming back. Oh
my god.
Gosh. I can imagine it coming back for cycle 25, but I feel like on Wikipedia they say something, but nothing's been confirmed. But I would love to see one more cycle. I know Germany's Next Top Model is still going. Oh gosh, and I remember watching clips from Ukraine's Next Top Model, and the bullying is just so bad. There were like contestants putting hands on each other and just like hating on each other, and I'm just like, what is happening? And the producers let it happen. So everyone out there, watch out if you go on reality TV. Because if they find it entertaining, then they don't care about you at all. Oh, Bad Girls Club. Oh yay, thank you for tagging my YouTube.
There we
go. I remember, oh gosh, I remember I watched a few episodes of Bad Girls Club. It's like, the theme song, and I'm just like, it just shows a random girl, and then she gets struck by lightning, and she's wearing all black now, and she's a bad girl, and she likes to fight, and I'm just like, that's interesting.
Hi, Natty, welcome back. And we are back.
Models, listen, you can't keep starving yourselves. I brought barbecue. Tyra, no. that I like.
That's funny.
Oh gosh. Because yeah, I remember Angelique when she was telling her tell-all after she got disqualified after winning. She was like, yeah, they wouldn't feed us, and we need to have 17-hour days. And I believe it. I mean, even being on set, I mean, I feel like background are treated better than the models on this show, and they're the talent.
Hey, Patrick, can I go with you to feed the models?
What if we all go to feed the models?
Free the models!
No, just feed them. We're just like, oh, you want to get out? Too bad.
Oh my god. Oh, it's my turn to read, isn't it?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
All right.
Because I was she opened up her hand to Tookie.
And then it's like, that's it.
Yep. Are we gonna get to Modelland in this chapter? Darth Sidious knows.
Chapter 10 is called Bo Big Teak Nation. Boo Big Teak, like boutique, but there's big in the middle.
Oh, Boo Big Teak Nation. You can't just add words in the middle of other words.
Tyra Banks can, apparently.
Where are the English professors? We need to have them read this and be like, what are we listening to?
This woman spent 5 years creating this world.
And this is what we get. Tyra, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you learn something from this?
Learn something from that was how the episode that you showed me started. I was like, it's this. I know this reference.
Yeah.
Okay. So here, let's see if I can actually try to make it so that people can at least see the book and be like, yay, that's the book. There we go. All right. The entire De La Crème family stood dumbfounded. Tookie, not over the fact that her name is Tookie, it'll never not be funny, stared at the scout's outstretched hand. Was this some kind of cruel joke? Blood pulsed hard from her heart to her head. Doesn't that always happen? That should always be happening.
Well, it pulsed harder, so...
Okay.
Her head is... She's feeling her heartbeat in her head.
She glanced at the question mark-shaped crack in the ground. It seemed very appropriate at this moment. The scouts had reached closer. Mrs. De La Crème scuttled out of the car onto the car's hood with the nimbleness of a mountain goat. "Oh, no, 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 my most honorable scout," she spouted. "This is not the girl you came for. These are not the droids you're looking for." She pushed Tookie aside. "You want my miracle." A sparkling slip of paper appeared in the scout's hand. Studying it, she first eyed Miracle, arching her body toward the girl so that mere millimeters separated their faces. Then, in a flash, the scout turned to look at Tookie. She returned to Miracle, triggering a hopeful smile on Mrs. De La Crème's quivering lips. Then she scrutinized the paper in her hand again. "What's taking you so long?" Miracle blurted out. "You want me. I'm the miracle. The miracle. I'm wearing the smize. I'm on the list, right?" Miracle reached for the list in the scout's hand. Whop! The scout jerked back so quickly that one of her necklaces swatted Miracle's hand away. Wait, what are the physics on that?
Or I guess it was covering this area, so I guess it was long enough to where she was like,
okay.
and the magic wind.
Miracle let out a sharp squeak. Ow! Cream! She smacked me with her thing. Sorry. Cream! She smacked me with her thing.
Oh.
Oh no. Mrs. De La Crème squared her shoulders. "Oh no, you did not just whack my miracle. I may not know who the hell you are, but I do know you have lost your diamond-encrusted mind." The scout's body tensed, and in the blink of an eye, Mrs. De La Crème changed her tune. "But I mean, lovely, bejeweled goddess, you do indeed know best. You can whack, slap, smack, clobber, knock out even. Give my miracle a black eye. Do as you wish. Just choose her."
Oh.
Miracle pointed accusingly at Tookie. "She's the one you should be smacking. She doesn't even care about Modelland." "Yes, I do," Tookie said softly. "Not that any of you have ever asked." But her words were drowned out by the howls of the crowd, blaring, the blares of car horns and the ear-splitting bone of the giant clock in the middle of Ladorno's Square, as it marked the official end to the day of discovery. The scout consulted a glittering piece of jewelry on her wrist that resembled the top half of a crystal snow globe. It changed color slightly with every second that passed. Then she extended both hands to Tookie, waving them impatiently. "Oh, okay," Tookie said uncertainly. It felt like she was in a dream as she reached for the scout, but just before they touched, the two strong hands shoved her to the side. She stumbled off the car, falling straight into Mr. De La Crème's arms. He quickly pushed Tookie back up on the roof. "Creamy, what are you trying to do? Kill the girl?"
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Though they want one of our daughters. Isn't that good enough? If she wants Tookie, let her take Tookie. God dang it.
Oh, I was just like, oh yay. He's like, don't kill the girl, but then he's like, get rid of her.
Mrs. De La Crème glowered at him. "Oh, so now the circus freak is your daughter." Mr. De La Crème looked up at Tookie. "Tookie, don't listen to her. You know I love you, right? Always have, always will. Your daddy's special baby girl." He was gonna send her to the factory.
Yeah.
Tookie's chest burned. Daddy, special love. She had a strong feeling he didn't mean it, but she couldn't help letting his warm words affect her anyway. "Just go," Mr. De La Crème told Tookie, "for all of us." As if it had been waiting to be released her entire life, a single teardrop from Tookie's eye. Did she never cry before?
I think she was saying she never really cried.
Okay.
Or she would fight, or she fought back the tears.
Did he want her to go because he just wanted to be rid of her? Was he truly proud of her and thought she really deserved this? Or was he now willing to be her daddy because she was the scout's choice. Chat, behave. I know where chat's mind is. This is a child.
Oh gosh. 15, just so everyone knows.
Suddenly something in the crowd caught her attention, and this is actually her father.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, yeah, allegedly. Suddenly something in the crowd caught her attention. There on one of the huge screens was her face, her 6 head, her multiple personality disorder hair. The forehead gets bigger it gains a number every time we talk about the forehead.
Her mismatched eyes. Oh my god. We did not plan that.
No, she just does so much. The image was projected all over Metopia, all over the world. Hundreds of bewildered spectators in Ladorno Square stared at the screen. Thousands of hopeful girls wailed to their mothers, "Why did she get to go? She's crazy looking." Millions of people all over the world saw Tookie's image right now and thought, "What the?" Trembling, Tookie remembered the words Wingtip had whispered to her outside the Esplanada. The day before, "Dream big, even you." Perhaps this was what he meant. This was the biggest dream any girl could have, especially a forget-a girl. Tookie swallowed hard, and her trembling hand finally met the scout's bejeweled one. A flash of golden yellow light surrounded them. A strong sucking sensation pulled at Tookie's feet, then her legs, and then her stomach and back. Her body tumbled into a brilliant sheer fabric that spewed from the scout's fingers. What? More fabric surrounded her, enveloping her bottom and legs. And the force of a billion hands lifted her up and buoyed her into the air. What a weird and creepy way to say they gave her a dress. Suddenly, Tookie was in some kind of translucent mesh pouch. She looked down through the gossamer fabric. Ladorno Square swung beneath her. Miracle fell to her knees on the car's hood, letting out a scream so piercing Mr. De La Crème covered his ears. Mrs. De La Crème's brow was dripping with sweat. She gripped her head, and the veins in her hands looked as if they were about to burst. She raised her hand in the air like it was a pistol, aiming to fire aiming for the scout. "You think you're flying high and mighty, but I will whack, slap, smack, clobber, knock out, and give your bedazzled ass a black eye." Whew.
Oh.
It was too painful to watch them anymore. Tookie shifted her gaze ahead. The scout floated in front of her, her arms stretched out behind her in a V, the fabric on the pouch protruding from the tips of her shimmering fingers. The grand buildings around Ladorno Square moved swiftly past. As Tookie sailed up and up, people looked dumbstruck, as if they were wondering why on earth such an odd-looking girl was in a scout's pouch. But she's in a pouch. I still have questions. I'm moving on. I don't have time for all the questions that I have. Tons of parties were taking place. In a 5th floor window, Tookie saw silver-haired men in shiny silver suits and young women in the finest gowns, all holding bright, bubbly concoctions in their hands. Higher up, she waved to a group of grinning children with cake-smeared faces. One cherub-faced girl was pressed so hard against the glass that Tookie worried she might push through some unseen crack and plunge to her untimely death. "This is a dream," Tookie kept repeating to herself. "I've dozed off during the ceremony. I'm going to wake up and Miracle will have been chosen." She squeezed her eyes closed tight and then popped them open, but she was still in the strange pouch. The streets of Ladorno spread out in a grid beneath her. Not surprisingly, every other part of Ladorno was virtually unpopulated at this particular hour. Nearly all of its residents crowded around the square for T-Dot. It was strange to see no pedestrians, no buses trundling past, no cars waiting at the stoplights. But then Tookie noticed a red flash during a figure darting down a dark alleyway. Tookie pressed her face hard against the translucent fabric. The picture ran crookedly down the alley. The figure ran crookedly down the alley, arms spread wide. Then the person abruptly stopped and looked straight at the pouch. Lizzie, Tookie's jaw dropped. We have to stop, she yelled to the scout, but the scout kept flying. Tookie grabbed a handful of the pouch's fabric and pulled with all her might, trying to tear a hole in the side. A horrible thought struck her. What if Lizzie saw my face on those humongous screens? What if Lizzie saw me willingly take the scout's hand? I mean, she was kind of kidnapped. I wouldn't call it willingly, but, What if she thought I skipped out of Exodus because I wanted Modelland more? I didn't know about this, Lizzie, I swear, Tookie screamed. But Tookie and the scout were too high in the sky for Lizzie to hear her. Lizzie's tiny body jerked to the side in a big twitch. After a moment, she lowered her head and began to run once more, the shadows swallowing up her crimson head. Soon she was nothing but a small dot. Lizzie, Tookie whispered, overcome with shame and guilt. She stood and curtsied, saying farewell to her one and only friend. She curtsied, huh? She's in a sack, but they moved fast through Ladorno, traversing the resort quarter, the luxury district, and the Platinum Row. As they neared the base of the mountain to Modelland, the scout slowed in front of the obscure obelisks, both O's capitalized, and stopped so abruptly that Tookie tumbled backwards. Then the scout took a sharp turn and headed straight down. Tookie scrambled to the front of the pouch. The ground was approaching fast. A rush of air pushed against her body, the G-forces distorting her face and making her cheeks flutter. A horrible wail rang through Tookie's ears, and after a split second, she realized it was her own terrified scream. We're really going to crash, she thought hysterically. She squeezed her eyes tight and braced herself for impact. But instead of hitting the sidewalk, they merged into it. Disappearing beneath the streets, Tookie rolled to the back of the pouch, legs overhead. When she opened her eyes, they were in a narrow, dimpled tunnel with pale green walls. It looked to Tookie like the inside of a plant stem. The air seemed like it did before a thunderstorm. A loud whomp, whomp, whomp vibrated in her ears. Tookie and the scout shot forward even faster, the pouch bouncing up and down. Just a few seconds later, the fabric darkened, turning black and shiny. Muffled music filled the air, growing louder. I don't know what kind of music it was. I feel like it was EDM.
It was the song that we listened to earlier.
Oh, God. Until Tookie recognized it as the T-Dot theme song, set to banjos. I think it was the song.
Oh my gosh.
A green-tinged fluorescent light appeared at the end of a tunnel. It grew brighter and brighter, and soon Tookie found herself face to face with cash registers, credit card machines, and Modelland magazines, and hundreds of checkout lines. In front of her, the scout's paper-flat, gem-studded, and now shiny black, patent leather-clad body rolled out of an enormous black rubber mechanism. All at once, Tookie understood. The scout had just unrolled from a conveyor belt. They must be in some kind of store. Then she looked around. Oh my God, Tookie gasped aloud. I'm in Boo Big Teak Nation walking, ladies. A chipper voiced man boomed over the PA. It looks like we've got a zirconia-encrusted Modelland scout on the loose. They said chipper-sounding voice. I don't know what chipper-sounding voice is supposed to sound like, but yay, we've got somebody on the loose. Thousands of girls screamed with excitement. Voices bubbled through the air. Where is she? A girl screamed. I think I see her in aisle 453, near the purple light bulb section. No, she's in auto parts aisle. Tookie looked through the pouch, taking in Boo Big Teak Nation for the first time. She'd read all about the place it was and the most convenient of convenience stores for everyone. For everyone lived inside the giant store. Small houses peppered the perimeter as far as Tookie could see, and a wide upper level balcony filled with larger houses encircled the entire place. To her left was a large section of motorhomes for sale. A bored salesman sat under a sign that read, "Ready to take your family on a Boo Big Teak vacation tour?" Explore the other side of the nation in style. The rest of the square footage contained mile upon mile of merchandise, but no one was shopping. Everywhere Tookie looked, girls were walking. They were in a different part of the country in different time zones. It's still T-Dot here, Tookie thought. Scores of girls sashayed through the aisles, shoving each other and screeching whenever they crossed paths. Every girl wore a single color from head to toe. A curly-haired strawberry blonde with a gap between her teeth was dressed all in mint green. A bronze-skinned girl wore metallic gold from her headband to her false eyelashes to her shoelaces. Tookie Scout was the only one doing any shopping at the Boo Big Teak. Her head darted left and right. Then the scout homed in on a girl about an eighth of a mile away. It was weird. Whatever the scout saw and heard, Tookie could see and hear too, like the tiny ticks in the tick farm display way down on aisle 135, and the tapping of a girl's foot at a messy counter marked the nation's customer service, which was clear across the store. The girl stood behind the counter. Her tag said Dylan. Dylan was shaped like a bottle of Boo Big Teak cola and had a heart-shaped face. Her lips were full and naturally raspberry colored, and her lavender blue eyes sparkled. Her thick, healthy golden blonde hair stretched to her butt, and she wore it in 2 ponytails, one on each side of her head. Her monochromatic outfit was the exact hue of her lavender blue eyes. An apron with strips of blinking lights displayed Boo in bold across her chest, big in block letters down her right thigh, and Teak in script across her buttocks. A little girl ran up to Dylan. Dill, why can't I walk? I've been practicing. My strutty strut, she twirled around Dylan. Dee Dee, you know you can't walk today, baby cakes. You're only 5 years old. Plus, Mama would go crazy. It's CUH-RAY-Z. Crazy on me if she saw you anywhere near that loony bin farm of desperate chicks. The little girl pouted. Can I walk with you then, right here? She won't know. Dylan smiled and good-naturedly at her little sister. Oh, it's her little sister. Okay, I wasn't told that, but I could have picked up from context clues, I guess. Okay, baby cake, stand on my feet. As if on cue, a crash sounded down the aisle. You stole my walking style, a girl in an ivory outfit screamed to the strawberry blonde, lurching for her and knocking over a display of motor oil. Gallons of slick ooze were now creeping across the floor. Strawberries and cream. Berries and cream. Berries and cream. Are mixing it up in a blender on aisle number 197, cackled a voice over the loudspeaker. I wonder what that juicy smoothie is gonna taste like. A female Boo Big Teak security guard bicycled down to break up the brawl and to keep the flow of walkers moving. Strawberry promptly punched the security guard in the eye, and now the brawl ensued. And a new brawl ensued. There we go. The speakers crackled again. Girls and ladies, chicks and dames, the strawberry aisle on 197 is one sexy knockout. We need assistance. Can someone please back that thing up and get over here now?
Oh my god.
Dylan sighed and whispered something in her sister's ear, then marched toward the altercation, swinging her hips to dodge the frantic walkers and lifting her arms to squeeze between displays. Dylan looked graceful and very sexy, even as she slid in that oil spill. Come on, ladies, Dylan shouted at Strawberry, who was swinging punches at anyone nearby. 6 instigating girls continued to practice and strut around the ruckus. Dylan's mere presence seemed to calm Strawberry. Dylan put her hands on her hips, cleared her throat, and spoke like a referee. Okay, so since the day you were born here in the Boo Big Teak Hospital, nursed on wombat milk, you've dreamed of going to Modelland, am I correct? The girls nodded. And has Modelland magazine ever mentioned that it prefers girls with high hopes of being the next Walter Waite welterweight champion of the BBT Nation? Dylan asked. The girls shook their heads. Then let's get back to fulfilling your dreams, ladies. That's how it's written. Fulfilling your dreams. Y'all are busted looking from now your championship fight, but pull your confidence from your inside. That's gotta count for something. And then, under her breath, she muttered, Cause who, child, y'all look crazy. And literally, cause who, child, that you look crazy.
Oh, gosh.
Let's put one foot in front of the other, Dylan continued. Swing them hips, not too much. Don't slip in the oil. There you go. The girls formed a line behind Dylan, like an army following its captain. Now repeat after me, Dylan said. If I don't get chose from Modelland's fam, they can kiss my butt. I won't give a damn. Swoosh. Tookie felt a tug, and suddenly the scout made a beeline for Dylan's marching lineup. All the girls saw her at once. It's happening. Pick me, pick me. They're literally pick-me's. But the scout
Pick me girls.
But the scout swept past all of them and stopped at Dylan. Dylan froze in her tracks, looking confused. The scout extended her neck, pushing her face within a millimeter of Dylan's, just as she had done with Miracle and Tookie. Satisfied, the scout stepped back and reached toward Dylan. Dylan stared at the scout in a bug-eyed trance. She looked behind her. Here. She eyeballed an immense crowd forming silently around her and the scout. For me? They're taking Dylan, a distant voice announced. A rolling wave of murmurs headed Dylan's way and grew louder. Dylan's mouth dropped open. A look of understanding washed across her face. But what about my brothers and sisters? Dylan gestured to a tiny house near the dental and feminine hygiene aisles. I got 4 of each. I look after them. Suddenly, a woman who looked just like Dylan, only about 20 years older, pushed through the spectators and hugged Dylan's shoulders. There were proud tears in her eyes. Don't worry, baby. This is your time. Seriously, Mama? I'm going to Modelland? Me? Dylan ran her hands over her generous hips, then shrugged. Maybe a little, or should I say a lot, of some boo big teak booty is just what Miss Modelland needs. The scout nodded, and the whole of the Boo Big Teak erupted into cheers and applause. And then Dylan fainted, crumpled to the ground. Everyone gasped. Don't worry, Dylan's mother waved her arms frantically. She does that when she's excited or scared or in shock.
Oh.
The scout reached down and lifted Dylan in her arms. Blue, green, and red fireworks exploded above them inside the store. The music pumped louder. The golden light that Tookie had seen in Ladorno appeared again. Suddenly, a foot rammed into Tookie's waist. Dylan was in the pouch next to her, just like that. The blonde jumped when she saw Tookie. Hey, girl, I'm Dylan. Whoa, I never seen eyes like that before. Interesting. Who are you? Tookie flinched. She was used to people paying attention to her. She wasn't used to people paying attention to her. I'm Tookie, she fumbled, trying to smile. The pouch lurched to the left, and the scout lifted off. Both girls turned about as they shot up through the roof, Boo Big Teak Nation. The roof of Boo Big Teak Nation. The last thing Tookie heard was a crackle over the loudspeaker. All right, little losers, the announcer resumed. Tissues for your boo-hoos and bandages for your boo-boos can be found on aisle 222. Can I tell you, we heard that was such a long chapter about that one place, and I still am unclear about what it actually was.
It was a store, but they also live there. And also the whole thing about the fainting, I'm like, is that a reference to Rebecca in cycle 4?
Oh,
where,
did somebody actually pass out?
Yeah, and she had to pay the $9,000 for her medical bill.
No.
Yeah. It was the girl who, I felt bad for her because she was also, or it was the woman who was also eliminated with Tiffany when Tyra was giving her like "we were rooting for you" message. The contestant that fainted was also the contestant in the double elimination.
Oh God! So she just had a really bad time.
Yeah. Oh, yikes. This chapter is so short.
I mean, you can count that as luck, or you could read the next one if you wanted to.
Yeah, the next one's also, the 12 is also short, so I'll just read 11 and 12.
Okay, that works.
Oh gosh.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it's fine, but crazy.
Don't worry if my child experiences emotions other than total neutrality. She'll faint. It's totally normal.
Oh my gosh.
It's not over yet, Texas. No, that was pain. It's yeah. She's like one of those goats, the fainting goat. Oh no.
Oh gosh. Yeah, the real reason for fainting goats is so that when they're startled, the predators go for them, so the other goats in the herd can get away. So you might think, oh, that's funny, but it's like, oh no, it's very bad.
Yeah, I do think it is supposed to be a dialect thing to show she has a different accent.
Is she supposed to be the Southern sweet girl?
Something like that, I think, yeah.
Even though Tyra hates accents on her show because it's like, but you need to deliver a commercial, and if it's any other accent that isn't just a neutral accent, then it's terrible.
The crazy thing returns many times. It's kind of like her catchphrase. Oh, good. I miss when people had catchphrase.
Oh gosh, it's crazy.
I'm sorry. Ellery goes, I'm sorry, nurse on wombat milk?
Yeah.
I was caught up on that too. And then Texas goes, what the fuck, Ellery? You've missed everything and nothing simultaneously. Tex, run while you can.
Oh gosh.
Tex was suffering earlier in the day with us. We're reading this so you don't have to.
Yes.
So you can escape. We're like taking the bullet for everybody, and it's just like, go, run away.
I'm just trying to think of what accent I'm gonna be giving people, but we'll see.
You could have just said pigtails, Tyra. I thought the same thing, Darth Sidious. She had 2 ponytails that were each on the side of her head. Okay, so she had pigtails. Like, she had...
But no, people might not know what pigtails are, so she needs to describe everything in detail.
But we're supposed to know what smizes are, right? Naturally.
And Intoxibellas.
Intoxibellas.
30 never.
Darth Sidious says, it takes 10 years to get to any point.
Yes.
She curtsied, but she's in a sack is very much the level of logic you should be expecting from this book. Oh, we know. We're on page 121. We're told it gets much worse, and I don't doubt anybody in chat. I'm just wondering how.
I'm just imagining her mom overcomes the disease just to strike fear into Tookie's heart. Okay, chapter 11 is titled Shiraz. I don't know what that means. Hold on, I need a deep breath right now. Need to prepare.
I think it's supposed to be like hurrah, hurrah, but it's
Shiraz.
Shiraz. I don't know.
The pouch swept through a green portal again. After a few minutes, a vanilla-scented breeze tickled Tookie's nose. In seconds, the pouch began to fill with thick white goo. What in the heck is happening? Dylan yelled. Tookie tried to move, but the goo had already reached her waist. It rapidly filled the pouch, soon submerging even their heads, but weirdly, Tookie could breathe in it as easily as a fish could breathe in water. The warm goo grew thicker and thicker until it was difficult for her to move. Then she and Dylan were frozen in place. Crack! Suddenly the goo released them. Tookie and Dylan turned around and saw a 7-foot candle busted open down the middle. The veiled scout was still in front of them, flapping away now a waxy diamond-covered bodysuit. Dylan wiped some remaining goo from her eyes. Hey, scout lady, did we for real just pop out of a candle? But the scout didn't answer. The sky above them was inky black. The lights of a village glowed below them. Candles in all shapes and sizes lit the entire town. Every house had an immense candle where the chimney should have been, and thin candles illuminated every street. A stiff breeze blew, and all the lights flickered in a surge. Some blew out, but relit just seconds later. Ooh, look over there! Dylan pointed past a hill. I made Dylan country. I hope everyone's okay with that. Pointed past a hill to an area much brighter than the rest of the dimly lit town. It looks like a fire's blazing. The waxy smell of the air got stronger, as if someone had pushed a candle close to Tookie's nostrils. Suddenly, Tookie knew exactly where they were. Candelabra, she murmured in a tiny voice. She'd read about it in a book once. Candelabra was the world's candle manufacturing center, the source of waxy light for all. For real? For real? Dylan looked excited. We sell candelabra candles in aisles 385 to 401. Sometimes I trek over them during my break and inhale the fudge-scented ones. Don't you just love fudge? Tookie grimaced. Chocolate was practically the only food she didn't like. Dylan's eyes goggled. Girl, you don't like chocolate? You must be crazy. The scout soared through the town's crooked cobblestone streets. A makeshift market of tent tables sold fire starter kits and fire insurance. Down a narrow alley, a man scurried along, pushing a cart filled with scrunched stubs of burnt-out candles. A tall, olive-skinned teenager with nervous eyes rushed alongside him. Is this offensive, me pronouncing it that way?
No.
It's like A-E with the quotation, I with two dots over it. Yeah.
I think she's just saying, yeah.
Oh.
I'm not sure, but
Oh, gosh. She urged. Tookie sat up straighter. They were speaking Labrian, the official language of Candelabra, which she understood perfectly. The girl had just told the man, Daddy, I'm so nervous. The day of Discovery walk-off is about to start and my dress still has not arrived. A petite, muscular girl with thick, curly hair, a face covered with freckles, and full lips ran toward the man and his daughter. She carried bundles of packages.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Darcy said the candle language is not pronounceable.
Oh. So,
it's not you. I just wanted you to know.
Oh, okay. I'll just be like, A. That's how it's pronounced. A.
And Mila says, so this one is a little more obscure, but the general consensus is that Candelabra is intended to be the Middle East, ?
Oh.
So.
Or a tall, olive-skinned teenage girl.
Yeah, I can. Okay, just catching you up with the chat.
Okay. Or it's like how early in the chat they're like chakra is supposed to be India.
Oh.
And it's just like,
I see. Oh, very on the nose there, Tyra.
Everyone's noses are turning red from how on it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just wow, Tyra. Sorry, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Or call my nose a light switch because a bit on the nose. Anyway, she carried bundles and packages under her arms and wore a loose beige top that gaped at the neck, gathering shorts that flapped with her movements, and gladiator sandals whose straps looked on the verge of becoming undone. And Labrian, the girl saying, your frock needed steam. I'm sorry I'm tardy. You're a Labrian dream, the belle of the party. After she finished the song, the messenger girl dropped the dress into the arms of the teen girl, who looked extremely relieved. Thank you, Shiraz, the father said to the messenger girl, handing her a coin. Then she took off again. Darting in and out of the streets clogged with Day of Discovery aspirants, the girl approached a decrepit door and slipped an envelope underneath. Then she was off once more, stuffing envelopes under every door she passed. Her footsteps pattered rapidly against the stone streets. Man, oh man, that chick is quick, Dylan murmured. The scout swooped down and positioned herself right in Shiraz's path. They collided head-on. Undelivered mail fluttered out of Shiraz's fingers, but she hardly looked phased to see the scout. Of course, Shiraz spoke in Labrian, confidently extending her hand to the scout. You've come for me, but the scout didn't react. The girl tried again. You're here for me, yes? The scout remained motionless. Ah, the language barrier, Shiraz said in a heavily accented English. I try to speak in the English. I am Shiraz, 7 inches and 4 feet tall. Perfect for studies at the Modelland, yes? Shiraz shook out her hair, straightened her clothes, and stood as tall as her small frame allowed. The scout extended her hand, and Shiraz grabbed it with lightning speed. Hello to the Modelland and goodbye to the Candelabra, she sang, her voice rising and falling melodiously. The pouch bulged, and Shiraz tumbled aside and snap into the green hole once more. Shiraz noticed Tookie and Dylan wider eyes. Oh no! Do not say you are my others. Your others? Dylan repeated. The other girls who are part of the Modelland. Shiraz waved her hands around, searching for the proper word. Experience? Said Dylan. Shiraz shook her head briskly. Excursion? Tookie said shyly. Shiraz shook her head again. Discovery? Asked Dylan. Discovery, yes. Then Shiraz brightened. Then she frowned. But you two, you're not the beauty exceptional like Shiraz. Dylan pursed her lips. Excuse me? You may be all cute and little and can run fast as an exotic feline in the plains, but hold up one sec, Miss Thing, cause Miss Modelland, or should I say the Modelland, Dylan shot Shiraz, don't have girls looking like you up in there, and besides, you weren't even trying out, honey. Me and her saw you. Shiraz sniffed huffily. The jealousies in your big body are burning like big dripless candle. I blow you out now. She puckered her lips and blew in Dylan's face. Dylan's nostrils flared. Oh no, This little dot face thing, you did not just stop, Tookie blurted out, surprising even herself. Don't you realize none of us look like Modelland girls? Not one of us. Dylan set her jaw, but Shiraz just peered at Tookie, confused. Tookie repeated the tirade in Labrian. Please don't fight, she added. I see enough fighting at home. Shiraz smiled slowly at Tookie, clearly amazed that Tookie could speak her language. But then she sat up straighter. Well, they pick us for some reason. Yeah, Dylan said toughly, although when she looked down at her broad thighs, an uncertain expression washed over her face. She looked up at Tookie. Do you got a theory? Tookie stared through the pouch at the electric lighting snapped through them in a tunnel. I don't know, she said. I just don't know at all. Okay, chapter 12.
So Ellery poses the theory that Dylan is supposed to be from pseudo-Australia because of wombat milk. And then Darth Sidious says there is a separate country for Australia, and then Milo says no, there is a pseudo-Australia with a very funny name. But I do like to imagine that character with an Australian accent.
I can do an Australian accent hold on, Australian. Hello, this is Dylan's accent now. She's Australian.
This is the book that never ends. Oh, you have no idea. We are so far.
Oh gosh, This
is gonna take many streams to get through this book.
We're hopefully gonna finish at least 1/5 of this by.
Milo agrees that Dylan is probably from Texas or some other southern state.
Yeah, or I can see Australia, but I don't know about New Zealand because I feel like New Zealand turns their nose. I feel like New Zealanders could be like the more uppity version of Australians because you can call an Australian, you can be like, or you can ask an Australian if they're from New Zealand and they wouldn't get offended, but if you ask a New Zealander if they're from Australia, they might get offended.
How dare you? Our rivals.
How dare you?
Yeah, chat's saying you're gonna want to save the Australian accent for a different character. So.
Oh, okay. I will save the Australian. Or, g'day, mate. Crikey. We're only on chapter 12 out of 47.
We're on page 126 of 568.
Crikey.
This is the book that never ends.
Now available on iTunes. Yeah, I feel like we need to get something from this experience of reading this.
47.
Yeah, 47. The book is long. Yet we aren't even close. We aren't even close to Modelland. Yes, rest in peace, Steve Irwin.
Yes. But real question, if not Australia, why wombat milk? That's my question too. I don't know what they were getting at with wombat milk.
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
Milo also points out that the main reason to think that it's a Middle Eastern country in this is because Shiraz is the girl's name, which is a city in Iran. So like very on the nose. I felt bad because the language that you were like, the unreadable language, I'm like, isn't this kind of offensive? Like I didn't even think it was supposed to be a language. I thought somebody was just being like, just making an expression, and it's like, no, that's supposed to be a language representing the Middle East. It's like, I don't like that.
Oh.
The fact that I can't even tell that it's supposed to be a language is probably not leaning towards a respectful version of things.
Oh gosh.
Yikes.
Well, if Tyra is many things, but I don't think with this book, respectful is
the
one
chat
of
tried to warn us. What about how bad it's getting? Yeah, this is the like low key racism is not a turn that I was expecting, but I should have been.
Oh, and then the multiple personality disorder hair.
The chat tried to warn me about how long the book is. I knew how long. We knew how long the book was before I bought it on Thrift Books. I was like, Gabe, it's 568 pages, and we just went. And then we bought it. So
don't call me Wombo, Blanky. Okay, sorry, Wombo. Or shouldn't it be? It's been 84 years since we started reading this book because Titanic.
Oh yeah.
It's been 84 years.
Yeah, we'll continue.
Yes. Okay.
You want to drink first? Do you want me to take over the next chapter?
Oh no, it's all good. I got it. Chapter 12, First Princess of Sans Color. Sans Color, but I'm Sans Color. The pouch emerged into a sea of thin white strands. Some of them even entered the pouch, covering Tookie's head and drifting past her mouth. It tickled a little. Everyone started to giggle. What are we gonna pop out of now? Dylan joked. A horse tail? Through the mesh wall of the pouch, Tookie saw a bear cave-sized hole and peeked in. Sticky, pasty gunk with peach fuzz was lodged inside. She frowned. I think we're inside an ear. How can we be inside ear? Shiraz frowned. Ear of giant? That makes no sense. This whole journey ain't make no sense, Dylan said. Then a loud scream erupted. The girls jumped and looked at each other. Was that you? Dylan asked Tookie. Tookie shook her head. Was that you? Dylan asked Shiraz next, but Shiraz shrugged. The pouch accelerated without warning, popping out of a sea of white. Behind them, Tookie saw a pale-skinned woman with a long platinum lock screaming at the top of her lungs. She was also scratching her scalp and poking at her ears. Dylan squinted. You know, I think Tookie was right. I think we just popped out of that gray-haired woman's head. Once again, the pouch emerged from the portal, giving the girls a view of a giant city in the distance. It was different from any city Tookie had ever seen. A clear protective dome covered the entire metropolis. The city was laid out in what appeared to be a perfect grid and reminded Tookie of one of her algebraic graphs. Not a speck of dirt marred the city streets. The most modern high-tech buildings hovered about 2 stories above the ground, allowing pedestrians and vehicles unobstructed passage beneath them. Tube-shaped elevators zipped up, down, side to side, and diagonally on the structure's exteriors. The Scout, now translucent and sparkling, floated through the city towards the sound of thumping drums. As they arrived at the edge of the city square, a vast crowd of girls with all stark white hair and nearly translucent pale skin moved with drill team precision. Tookie, Dylan, and Shiraz scrambled to the walls of the pouch so they could get a good view. Tookie gasped. Sand's color, she whispered. She'd only read about it in books. It was a place few ever got the chance to experience. Sand's what? Dylan asked. Sand's color? Tookie mumbled, unaccustomed to people asking her direct questions. About 800 pale-skinned girls wearing different types of blue uniforms and cap marched in a formation. Along one axis, girl and teal marched together, doing hand and head movements in unison. Another group in navy pranced in the opposite direction. The third group, this one in aqua uniform, sped along the intersecting axis, and a fourth group wearing turquoise, headed for the middle of the navy group. The overall effect was the 4 colorful trains running along intersecting tracks, each set going in a different direction. Tookie was riveted by the show. The navy and turquoise groups nearly crashed into the aqua and teal groups, but they veered off at the last second, making a precise right turn. Is Day of Discovery for them? Shiraz whispered. Tookie nodded. Here, the T-Dot theme music had a drum major beat. The walkers were the expression of common to every Modelland hopeful, just a bit toned down. Dylan squinted at the crowd. How do they stand out, for goodness sake? It's the Battle of the Blands. Everyone had the same coloring. Alabaster skin onlookers sat on the bleachers watching the performance. A brigade of pale white blonde soldiers stood at attention. Sitting in a plush, oversized cobalt blue chair in the middle of the stage was a platinum blonde woman. A tall, bored-looking girl stood at her side. Even the birds of the sky were pale. A flock of pure white birds swooped past, their eyes cherry red. Everybody here sick? Shiraz whispered. No, they have albinism, Tookie whispered back. You mean?
I thought they were gonna call them the word that we don't.
This word?
Yeah, because isn't that a word that you're not supposed to say?
Well, I know Unita is, and she seemed fine with saying it.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not an authority, but somebody in chat said Darth Sidious said, where did Darth Sidious say it? These people in Sand's color are like that word, not my wording. So I was like, oh, is that I don't think that, I don't know if that's a word that we say or not. I genuinely just don't know.
Well, I know, like, or they're like with animals and natures, it's like, oh, they have albinism, and it's like an albino squirrel and stuff like that. So as long or that makes it sound bad, it's like, oh, we call animals in nature this, so we can call people that, right? Right. Or Chad, is it okay if we say albino?
We don't know. We need an authority.
Oh no! Battle of the Blands, holy ableism, Batman.
Holy able, right? No, I didn't even process that. There's too much coming at me at once. I'm just like, what?
Yes, thank you, chat, for pointing all these out, because I'm just like,
We're so confused. We have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. You mean they're albino? Shiraz said Tookie was pretty sure it was rude to call them albinos.
What?
Okay. So it is not okay to call them albinos.
Oh,
I guess
Tyra.
what Well, this is the first time it's like saying something and being like, I don't think. Well, then I
Then
don't.
just don't call them that.
Yeah.
Why
Well,
did you do that?
Or they're making Shiraz say it, so it's like, oh, she said it, but we can say that's not okay to say that.
Well,
so.
Ellery said, I think she gave them all fake country names because she thought if they're not real country, if they're not real racist, you can't be racist. And it just comes off as extremely more racist. When it's like, oh, this country that's supposed to be the Middle East, it's like, oh, you genuinely can't tell that their language, it's not pronounceable, and you can't, like, I couldn't tell that it was supposed to be a spoken language. Oh dear, I hear Perry crying. Continue, I'm still listening.
Okay. But are they still listening? Tookie was pretty sure it was rude to call them albinos, but she kept her mouth shut, not wanting to seem like a know-it-all. The scout swooped through the crowd. All the marching girls on the ground looked up and started to scream and stomp their feet, turning the synchronized parade into chaos. The platinum blonde-haired woman in the throne-like chair frowned, popped her tongue, and rasped at the highly decorated soldier to her right. The soldier then uttered a short popping sound, which was repeated in unison by all the other soldiers down the line. All the girls immediately jumped back into formation. Kitty. It's Calorian, Tookie whispered, listening to the distinct rasping, gurgling, popping, and sucking sounds. I want to say something, but I'm not gonna. To the untrained ear, the language sounded like someone swallowing a bucket of raw oysters, but to Tookie, each tiny sound was beautiful. Every language was. The sound makes me want to clear my throat. The sound makes me want to clear my throat, Dylan said, wrinkling her nose. The woman on the throne, evidently some kind of dignitary, blurted out more Calorian gurgles, slurps, pops, and rasps.
Oh no!
But this time to the scout. Tookie was a little rusty with Calorian, but she could understand well enough. I am the Prime Minister of Sans Color. This is an occurrence we have been awaiting. A chosen one from Sans Color at your Modelland might prove to be an effective ambassador for us. Oops, sorry. I hit the cat in the face. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's fine.
What that woman saying, Shiraz murmured. Sorry, I don't speak gobbledygook.
Oh my god! No, Tyra, no!
Tyra, why?
Tyra, why?
Actually, I do, Tookie said, and then translated what the Prime Minister had. Oh, come on. There's a cat trying to get on my lap.
Perry.
Here you go, Perry.
Gabe has enough to deal with, Perry.
It's okay. I need an emotional support cat.
We all do.
Everyone sees Kitty. Hi, Perry. Actually, I do, Tookie said, and then translated what the Prime Minister had just said. The girl goggled at her, hanging on her every word. The woman continued and Tookie translated. If you can guarantee safety for whoever you choose, you may select anyone who declares herself willing. That is my pledge. The scout bowed to the Prime Minister, and the crowd cheered. The tall, bored-looking girl who had been standing behind the throne stepped out to get a better look at the scout. She had keen, bright, rose-colored eyes and an intense expression that made her appear highly intelligent. She probably was, Tookie thought. All the people from Sans Color were supposed to be off-the-charts geniuses. Slowly, the scout scanned hundreds of girls in the procession, then floated over the Prime Minister's head and landed in front of the bored-looking girl, who stood poised like a statue. The scout extended her bejeweled hand. The crowd gasped even louder. The Prime Minister whirled around. Not Piper, she shouted, a vein in her pale forehead glowing blue-green. Guardians! The soldiers aimed their weapons at the scout in the pouch. You cannot take her, the Prime Minister declared, standing protectively in front of the girl. She is my daughter. Uh-oh, Dylan sniggered. We're in the middle of a royal mama-daughter showdown. The scout bowed respectfully and turned away to scan the crowd of other pale daughters. But the girl ran around her mother to face the scout. Madam, please do not listen to my ridiculous mother, the queen. The girl rolled her eyes. I am Piper, first princess of Sans Colors. And I have rights. I hereby accept admittance to Modelland. Piper's mother hurled a menacing popping sound at her daughter. I will not allow you to go to the mindless school on the mountain, Tookie translated. She said all that with one sound, Dylan said. Before anyone could stop her, Piper grabbed the scout's hand. Suddenly, the pale girl was in the pouch, too. The Prime Minister's face twisted with shock and fury. Fire! She yelled. The pouch jerked hard as the scout flew away. The girls were thrown left, then right as the scout spiraled frantically through the air. She's dodging the bullets, Tookie thought, her heart in her throat, as the soldiers fired their weapons again. Whirling sideways, the pouch burst out of the bubble dangerously close to the war-torn concrete jungle that surrounded Sans Color. Thousands of 10-foot spears pointed at the bubble now shifted their aim to the scout. A horde of demonic yellow-eyed jungle inhabitants stared at the pouch, roaring savagely. One wrong move, and the pouch would be ripped to shreds.
Oh my god. Sorry, I had to take a video because Perry is like, it's okay, human.
Thank you, Perry.
I said the chat was too stunned to speak because everybody just stopped messaging because I'm like, I think we're all processing this collectively. Like, oh my god.
Oh god, and I have an idea of where this supposed place is and the language that's coming from, like the popping and stuff, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna say anything, but Tyra, why?
Yeah, because there are languages that use like the clicks and stuff, and it's like, don't describe it this way.
Exactly.
This feels horribly offensive.
Yep, and she's like, take anyone but my daughter, and now people are attacking the pouch. And we're still nowhere near Modelland. Oh, and I'm reading what...
You can see Avery is multitasking. I was taking a video because Perry and Gabe, and I thought it was very funny. Perry knows that we need emotional support because we're all scarred.
Oh, and albinism is the genetic medical term, but the A word has been used as an insult in certain contexts, though I'm not 100% sure it's by definition a slur or not.
Thank you for checking. We genuinely just were like,
Are we allowed to say this? I don't want to get canceled.
You know it's a bad book when it's like, oh no.
Oh.
You know it's a bad book when you're like, Tyra, no.
Tyra, why?
Tyra, why?
Let's see, how long is chapter 30? Thank you, Perry. Oh, thank you, nope. Perry.
Oh, sure, walk on everything, Perry. It's fine.
Oh gosh, 132 to 148.
That's fine.
Okay.
I took my medication. I'm
Perry,
calmed of mind.
Perry, I have to move your foot. Sorry, sweetie. Here you go.
Perry.
Hey, here, Perry, why don't you come back here? Or she's like, I know you're reading, so I'll get on your lap.
Come here. Are you trying to be helpful? Are you helping? Texas. Wait, what's chat saying?
Where are we at now?
That's fine. I didn't need my phone, Perry. It's okay.
We're in Sans Color, and Piper has just been put in the pouch, and a bunch of people are attacking the scout. Thank you for looking stuff up. Almost there. You don't want to know what happens to people with... Oh, Unita talked about that a lot, where they would be like...
Oh, yeah.
Let's use or it's just... Yeah. I'm not going to say it, but it's just like, it doesn't end well for them.
Yeah, let's not talk about Africa like it's one homogenous culture. Yeah, that's another thing, too. It's like... the entire... Yeah.
Oh, Perry's pressing the space button.
Yeah, it seems like the book is like describing like whole continents as if they're just one homogenous thing, and it's like,
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know.
I was gonna pass that along, but I didn't want to trigger anyone. Yeah, it's quite. Yeah, it's quite
horrifying.
Yeah.
It's a little baby Perry. Yes, thank you, Perry. We get like 20 or like 50 new people enter because they're like, a cat? And they're like, what's going on? They're reading Modelland. What? The book by Tyra Banks. And we're off.
It's the star of the show, Perry.
Oh.
There's so much stuff on this desk. Yeah, but obviously Africa is multiple countries and cultures, and that very triggering thing, I guess, happens in some cultures on the continent. But yeah, yeah. I think we were all thinking, a few of us were thinking that, but we're just like, ooh, that's triggering. Tyra, why? Tyra, why?
Well, it's like her explanation of doing the ethnicity SWIP photo shoot in cycle 4 and 13. It's just like, oh. It's just like, oh, Perry, what are you doing?
Oh my god, Perry, this is a safer work stream. Oh god. I'm so scared.
Perry's ongoing hatred of Bean.
We went from like this is wacky and stupid to like this is racist very quickly.
Oh.
I'm concerned.
Oh,
Hi.
Perry. Oh, Perry's just like, I'm gonna be comfortable.
I'm glad someone is. Chapter 13, The Express Lane. Don't chew the computer. And don't put your claws in the computer. What in the name of wombat milk are those things? Dylan screamed as the scout lifted the pouch high above Sans color. Piper, who was... Sans color because... Oh no. Oh no. It's hitting... Oh no.
Because no color.
Yeah, it's hitting... It's just hitting me.
Oh. Why is it wombat milk? We don't know.
We don't know anything. We're just the messengers.
Yeah. Don't.
Fair to say, we don't endorse anything in this book. Whoa, Perry.
Oh, she put her paw on.
All right. Dylan screamed as the scout lifted the pouch high above Sans color. Piper, who was huddled on one side of the pouch, away from the others, covered her eyes and shook her head violently. She stammered, the leg gizzards, Tookie guessed. She'd read about them the only Calorian history book at the Peppertown Library. The creatures encircled the Sans color bubble, desperate to get inside. They can't reach you here, she said, speaking in Calorian to Piper. We're safe. You know my language, Piper said, switching to English. Impressive and rare. What's your name? Tookie lowered her eyes. Her name's Tookie, Dylan spoke for her. She don't talk so much, but she knows what everybody else is saying, no matter what the language. Those things, the gizzards, Shiraz widened her big brown eyes. Big balloon over your city to keep the gizzards out, yes? Piper nodded. Yes, the bubble protects us from the sun. The gizzards, they live outside Sans color and thrive off Calorian sweetbreads. Sweetbreads, Shiraz exclaimed, rubbing her tummy. Would be nice now. Stomach is doing the growling. Think less pancakes and pie crust and more pancreas and thymus glands, Piper stated with a shiver. Hundreds of Calorians have been butchered by the gizzards, including my father. Although my mother, the queen, at this Piper rolls her eyes, lies to our people and says he succumbed to a deadly dermal disease. Tookie's mouth made a small oh. Dylan and Shiraz fell silent. My papa died too, Shiraz volunteered. Really? My daddy passed when I was a wee thing. Dylan looked off into the distance. Piper turned to Tookie. What about you? Is your father alive? Tookie thought about Mr. De La Crème. I lost my father too, just recently. It was, in a way, true. The four of them had at least one thing in common. Then Piper straightened up and gave Dylan a close-lipped, narrowed-eyed, strangely striking glare. For a moment, as the light caught her, she looked like a muse in a painting. I see you staring at me. Dylan looked caught. My people have little to no melanin in their skin, hair, and eyes, Piper explained in a clipped voice. It makes us susceptible to excruciating sunburns and various terminal diseases, not to mention stares from people like you. I'm sorry, Dylan blurted out. Yeah, right, Piper turned away. Tookie couldn't bear more fighting. So you're really, a princess, she asked, changing the subject. Piper turned to her. A small smile formed on her face. Not exactly. I just call myself that to annoy my dear mother. She's an elected official but acts like a queen. I actually campaigned for her opponent during the election. Really? Girl, you got some guts, Dylan applauded. The pouch popped out into a windy, thunderous sky and swelled and dropped dramatically. The four girls looked out every side of the pouch to see if they could tell where they were. Thick fog covering the ground below, voodoo-style drum beats sounded from the ground. In the distance, they saw what they thought were the Modelland gates, a wide expanse of bright orange and red flames shot from the top of the mountain. Are the gates on fire? Dylan asked shakily. No. Shiraz clutched her head. Cannot be happening. Perry, please don't lean on anything that's gonna shut anything off.
I'm trying to make sure that the mouse is like off in a corner or something.
Thank you. Let's see. Dylan looked at her. What can't be happening? Shiraz trembled with fear. This is the real reason we're chosen for the Modelland, she begins to sing in a sweet, haunting voice. On the day of discovery, when new recruits arrive, I don't know what the melody of this is supposed to be. I'm just reading it. A plan of debauchery. Where all but 4 survive. Deformed and defectives, they torture and connive till no bones are connected. They blaze the 4 alive. When Shiraz finished, she looked at them. When I was a little girl, came in Candelabra. That song we sang, Shiraz whispered. You know, sacrifice rumors, right? They're true. Piper frowned. I haven't heard anything about sacrifice. Really? Dylan raised an eyebrow. Those rumors run rampant all up and down the Boo Big Teak aisles. It goes something like, Modelland brings in 4 lesser girls to brutally experiment on them and then sacrifice them to some sort of ancient gorgeous goddess or something. Shiraz nodded frantically. Yes, exactly that. So you believe we're this year's fresh meat? Piper asked. Come on.
Chat.
Hi. Yes, I am very concerned. I do have a lot of questions. Thank you for helping me. She's like, can I offer any assistance? Perry, come here. Oh. Okay, good enough. Fresh meat. Yes, Shiraz squeaked. 4 crazy-looking girls in sacks. They will burn us in ceremony. A loud thud echoed through the pouch. Dylan had fainted. She was now flat on her back, a ghastly expression frozen on her face. Tookie scooted over to go check on her. Dylan! Dylan batted her eyelids open and mumbled, I need a cleanup on aisle 97. Oil spill. Dylan, you're in the pouch, Piper said. But what about my siblings? Dylan asked. I got 4 of each. Tookie's heart pounded fast. She heard of the sacrifice. She fainted again. She heard of the sacrifice rumors too. Everyone in Metopia whispered about them, debating whether or not they were true. Intoxibellas were even asked in interviews if the torture and murders really happened. Every Intoxibella denied it, but maybe that was because they didn't know, or worse, were in on it. Reality started to set in. Tookie had known this was all too good to be true. Of course Modelland didn't want her, a dirt and snot-eyed, freaky-looking forget-a girl. Look, Piper screamed, pointing at the diabolical divide, that D's capitalized. Tookie shot up. Lightning flashed. Okay, Perry. Lightning flashed.
You're in distress. Let me help, Perry says.
Let me help you. Are you getting down? You can get down. Down, please. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh no.
She'll be back probably. She's doing a wellness check. Look, Piper screamed, pointing at the diabolical divide. Tookie shot up. Lightning flashed every few seconds. In time with the beating of the drums. With each strike, Tookie saw the evidence of lives somehow lost. A filthy gray hooded sweatshirt caught on a dead tree limb. A patent leather backpack, its pockets ripped open. Abandoned near a small stream. Half a girl's white sneaker propped against a tree stump. The shoe looked as though something had taken a huge bite out of it. Tookie swore she saw blood smeared on the toe. Those items must be from the expired pilgrims who caught the plague, Piper said quietly. Expired? Dylan shook her head. The princess of Sans Color is also the princess of understatement. Those pilgrims aren't just expired, honey. They're dead. No, the pilgrims, Shiraz cried desperately. They are killed through sacrifice. Shiraz, they did her really dirty. She's speaking in this very, like, broken, broken English dialect. My brain is just filling in, like, words, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna do Shiraz like that.
Oh.
The scout made an abrupt incline. Only the glowing eye at the very tip-top of Modelland was visible. The thumping of the drums grew stronger, vibrating through Tookie's chest. The flames shot higher into the air, setting fire to a giant wall made of mismatch of unidentifiable items. Then the gates of Modelland came fully into view. They were made of blue and gold, metal and deeply engraved silver, and they had gears on both sides that seemed to be some kind of high security locks. The scout flew lower and lower. Tookie cheered fervently on the inside of her lip. Her heart was pounding so fast she was sure it might soon rip from her chest. Could Shiraz be right? Were they flying to meet their doom? Honestly, at this point, if we save us like 400 pages, you know.
They all unalived the end.
And the end. The pouch's walls began to drip liquid lightly at first, but then the wetness poured down in sheets. They're gonna use this liquid to electrocute us, Dylan cried. Tookie felt a wet hand slip into hers. It was Dylan's. Piper grabbed Tookie's hand from the other side, and Shiraz gripped Piper. Tookie squeezed her eyes. Hang on, Perry, I'll be right there. Shut, bracing for impact. The pouch skidded on the ground with a loud, jarring thump. There was a ripping sound, like a pouch split open, spilling out Tookie and the girls. Tookie leaned down and grabbed the empty pouch in a panic, rummaging through it, trying to locate the scout. But the fabric remained lifeless. In Tookie's arms, the scout was nowhere to be found. An immense umbrella appeared out of nowhere and plopped into the middle of the pouch. Oh, thank God, Piper said, grabbing it and holding it over her head, surely to block her sensitive skin from the sun's rays. Suddenly, the strange voodoo drumming stopped. The silence was deafening. The girls looked around. They were in a large clearing atop green grass. Tookie ran her hands over the green and in the dim light realized it was not grass but fine fabric. Now what do we do? Shiraz whispered. Something shot toward them in the darkness. When Tookie's eyes adjusted, she saw a tall creature with a head shaped exactly like a human hand. What in the Guillermo del Toro? With 4 fingers and a long thumb, the palm of the hand contained pale blue eyes. 2 holes for a nose, and 2 full lips below, just demonstrating in case everybody forgot what a hand looked like. Below the strange hand head was the body of a normal human. What in the Egyptian mythology? Hello, mademoiselle. Je m'appelle Guru Applause, the head of the couture department. The creature said in a thick, très jolie accent, smiling with its broad mouth full of perfectly straight white teeth. I am beyond excited. Have you arrived early? Your lack of tardiness, I deserve a round of applause, oui? I'm sorry to all the French people. That's just the way it's written.
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu. With a squeal of pleasure, the creature leaned. I don't like that we're calling it the creature when it's obviously like an autonomous person. The creature leaned all the way to the left and hit its hand head to its left palm, and then did the same on the right side with its right palm. Just looking at the bizarre ovation made Tookie dizzy. That thing gives new meaning to the phrase "talk to the hand," Dylan whispered. Tookie couldn't help but giggle. That's like Tyra Banks' version of putting in a laugh track. It's like, and the other characters laugh, so you should too.
Just had to press the button. Ha 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 ha, and we're just like.
I should have put it on the soundboard. You are the seamstress I ordered, no? The hand looked excited. The Intoxibellas theme This year is insects of the bush, and I need all the extra helping hands I can get, seeing I only have 3. It paused for effect, a coy smile on his face. Now let's get to work, we? Yellow smoke began to swirl around the girl's feet. Shiraz jumped back. Sacrifice is starting. I'm too young and spry to die. The other girls yelped and grabbed each other's arms. Tookie could barely breathe. She was so afraid, but as she grasped the girl's hand, she suddenly felt one small note of reassurance. She wasn't going to die alone. Oh my god.
Oh.
The other 3 actually wanted to face death with her. The smoke rose higher, fully encircling them. Tookie squeezed her eyes shut. At least I had an adventure at the very end, she told herself.
Oh.
She could feel the hot flames on her cheeks. The smoke tickled her nostrils. Suddenly, the smoke flew away, coming to a halt in a wall-like clump a few feet from the girls. Slowly, the cloud wall resembled forming a door of black smoke. The door flipped open. Behind it was a black chamber full of angry, swirling wind. Tookie's hair blew backward. Piper gripped the umbrella tightly, but it turned inside out anyway. Dylan and Shiraz covered their eyes. A nude figure emerged through the doorway, stalking toward them with a rhythmic pace. With each step, the tornado wind whipped even faster. Then the figure raised its arms. Tookie felt a tugging sensation under her feet. The pouch whipped out from underneath them and streamed into the figure's fingertips. Dylan's mouth trembled. She looked like she was about to faint. What in the heck is going on? I would have fainted too. I don't blame Dylan. First of all, Dylan's got a medical condition, clearly, and secondly, I would have also fainted. Smaller pieces of fabric shot from the figure's fingers and into the air, hanging weightlessly over the girls. The strips of material tumbled and lashed around the heads, ripping and combining violently into undergarments of every color and fabric. A white lace girdle whipped past. A purple Merry Widow floated by. A purple Merry Widow, I don't know what that is, floated by, followed by a chartreuse camisole, marigold briefs, a blue bloomers. I don't know why that's so hard to say. The unmentionables floated in. Are you okay? Sorry.
No, it's just like, or just some of this language and people are commenting on it. It's like, oh, they're 15.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very not okay. Floated in front of the dark figure that had appeared in the door. Suddenly, a long, bejeweled, tentacle-like necklace appeared. Our scout, Tookie breathed. The scout chose a pair of very unsexy blue bloomers. And put that, well, maybe she doesn't have a date. We don't always, sometimes you just want to be in your comfies.
Don't judge someone by their bloomers. How
and
rude.
put them on her bare body. All the other intimates were sucked back into the scout's fingers. Okay. And then thwop. More garments shot out of the scout's fingers. A one-shoulder bias cut, burnt orange chemise, a maroon elkskin jacket with severe shoulder pads, a fire engine red felt pork pie hat, a pair of metal-studded heather gray ankle boots. It was like they all were in a zero-gravity department store. The items spun around and around. The scout's jeweled appendages acted like hands and arms, moving the choices around into unconventional ensembles. When the jewels had settled on a preferred selection, they thrust the winning selection onto the scout. The remaining choices were sucked up into the scout's fingers once more. The scout was left wearing a plunging white V-neck blouse with so many odd angles to it, Tookie couldn't quite figure out. A high-waisted, corseted indigo blue, fine-woven cotton skirt, barely covered her butt. Boots. She really likes talking about butts, doesn't she?
Oh my god.
Boots with alternating strips of leather and canvas laced up just above her knees, chocolate brown swirls decorating the material, then the bedazzled jeweled tentacles burned bright red. In a flash, they melted into one, forming a belt of golden yellow fabric that rested snugly on the scout's hips. It's her centura, Tookie whispered. Amazing, Dylan managed to say. The scout lifted both hands to her face and peeled her veil slowly from the bottom up. The girls oohed and awed, for she had shimmering caramel-colored skin, the very skin that had made trillionaires of quite a few CEOs of skincare companies. Full, soft-looking lips with the deep Cupid's bow that had inspired so many girls to wear glow lip gloss. Large, emerald eyes with mile-long lashes that seemed to look into your soul, knowing exactly what you needed at any given time. Tookie gasped. Could it be? She looked around at all the others, and they were awestruck too. It was the celebrated, renowned, mythical Intoxibella, CL. Sorry, I was sweating buckets back there, the Intoxibella sniffed her armpits. Yuckity yuck, I totally forgot to put on my sweat stopper this morning. I'm a girl who can't skip a day, if you know what I mean. You're, Dylan stammered, the most distinguished, Piper began. It was too stunning to finish. The CL, Shiraz summed up. Tookie gaped, feeling completely unworthy of having a conversation with a creature so regal and divine. CL was the last Give me a second, Perry. 777, a real 777 with all 7 Intoxibella powers, was the one who had taken them to the ends of the earth, the one who had taken her hand instead of the miracles. And finally, the mystery was solved. Where the hell is CL? Why, she was right here. Yes, I'm CL, the Intoxibella said, a calm, reluctant smile fluttering across her lips. She stared at Dylan, Piper, and Shiraz in amazement. It seemed like something clicked in her mind, and her expression totally changed from serene to something much darker. Hendel, Catherine, Woodland, I can't believe it. She ran up to Dylan and put her ear to Dylan's mouth. Then she moved to Shiraz and placed her fingers on her wrists. Finally, she touched Piper's chest, where her heart was. You all made it. Hang on, I gotta go let Perry out. She's quite unhappy.
Oh no.
And at least somebody should be not unhappy.
So, we're just like, why must we suffer?
Why, Tyra? Why?
Oh, and the piercing green eye. I guess this is the piercing green eye. Da da da.
All right.
CL is awful, but also the least annoying character.
Somehow I kind of understand exactly what chat's getting at. I'm gonna have to get caught up in what I'm missing in chat, because this chapter's been a lot.
Oh, that's right, everyone. This book has 2 Tyras. Oh, but 2 Tyras is one Tyra is one Tyra.
Oh, is this one also a Tyra self-insert?
Yeah,
I can see. I can imagine. Yeah.
CL and Tookie are the Tyra self-inserts, according to chat.
I can totally see that. The 3 girls looked at each other confused. Huh? CL noticed Tookie and coolly extended her hand and welcomed. Her welcome was far less enthusiastic. Excuse-moi, Guru Applause stood behind them. I hate to break up this party, but je besoin de these seamstresses. CL, thank you for transporting them so swiftly. I will take them now. CL shielded the girls protectively. With all due respect for the world of handmade couture, as well as for you, Guru Applause, these young ladies are not dressmakers. They are tastemakers of tomorrow. Bellas of Modelland. The girls exchanged a shocked glance. Bellas? Everyone knew that was the Modelland term for students. So they weren't sacrifices? Comment? Guru Applause recoiled from the girls as if they had an airborne illness. Look, sweetie dear, I am fatigued, and I am going to nurse my headache. So please stop this joviality, and have my new seamstress report to my couturier. I
think couturier.
And with the beauty queen wave of its hand, right? Because it's the hand, in case you forgot, like the thumbs.
I was just thinking that from Spy Kids.
Yep. Her hand. The guru turned and left. Don't mind applause, girls, CL murmured. The guru's a bit frustrated to have been born with 3 hands while the rest of the fam has 4. Tookie's gaze was still fixed on CL. I don't even have time to unpack. There's so much to unpack. She just couldn't believe this was happening. Beyond being awed by CL's worldwide fame, Tookie actually respected her most of all the Intoxibellas. She actually had substance behind her heavy made-up face and accessory-adorned body. CL was a legendary spoken word poetry slam champion. She couldn't just say poet?
No, she was a poetry... Tyra, because this is Tyra we're talking about.
Word poetry slam champion, spouting many controversial poems that even some of the snobbiest literary critics praised. She gave keynote addresses at college graduation, speaking about her many interpretations of human beings' physicality. CL was an icon, an Intoxibella, unafraid to speak her mind. But then Tookie realized something. Why was CL a T-Dot scout? Was it a demotion? After all, everyone knew that scouts weren't 7/7s. They were second-string Modelland Bellas who'd tried to reach the 7/7 status but missed it by a hair. The other girls were gaping at CL too. How did that cheer about CL go? Dylan asked. Her eyes bright, she raised her arms overhead, fist clenched. Give me a big C and a little I, a tilde. Tilde
you were
is
right.
in the name. I was right. It was a tilde. Shiraz joined in, executing the cheerleading moves that went along with the charm. To signify the tilde, the squiggle, the character at the center of CL's name, I guess it is kind of in the center. The girls made a wiggly shape with the flats of their hands. Come on, Tookie, Dylan said, bumping Tookie's hip. What's the next line? Tookie bit her lip, still feeling shy. I think it's throw me a lanky, lanky, lanky long L. She remembered the rhyme from Playground of B3. Atta girl. Oh yeah, her school that we read about for multiple pages that means nothing to us.
Beef. It's actually B4. Remember? Butt bombs.
They count that as 1B.
Yeah. That's the only B that I remember from the B4.
A girl, Dylan whooped. Simple and clean. No, but a tongue twister. That's the way you spell CL. Please stop, CL said flatly. Please stop, we all said flatly.
Yeah, stop.
Dylan lowered to her knees in front of CL. I've recorded all of your speeches and poems. You're so powerful. Please don't bow down to me. That worship stuff is kind of not my thing, CL said, pulling Dylan up. Plus, you'll have plenty of kowtowing to do today, so spare your delicate knees. Oh, which reminds me, I have to recite the welcome crap. Okay. She straightened up and cleared her throat. Welcome to Modelland, CL said in a monotone, as if on autopilot. Your Novo Bellas are among the chosen few, but your place in the land is not promised. It is yours to earn every day, every minute, every second. CL trailed off. Ugh, you know what? I can't recite this mess with a straight face. Besides, you'll hear it again momentarily from a stone bitch. From a stone bitch. The Intoxibellas then started to scratch her arms and legs. This getup is itchy as hell, man. And with that, she shook her body, and her avant-garde skirt, shirt, and boots instantly transformed into a t-shirt, ripped jeans, and dirty sneakers. She's not like the other girl. She wears jeans and sneakers.
Tyra self-insert. She's not like the other model. She's a cool model.
She probably even eats cheeseburgers.
Oh my god. Oh gosh, there's a whole thing in Cycle 11 about that.
Oh god. Girl, you are so real. Recite a poem about a CL, Dylan begged. CL raised a perfectly plucked eyebrow. You want me to freestyle right here, right now? Nuh-uh. Then perform one of your 7/7 powers, Piper urged. I'd love to see excite to buy, or maybe multiplicity. Honey child, you've already seen the powers at work, CL said nonchalantly. How do you think we got to Modelland in a bus? The teleportation and flying Shiraz cried, thrusting her chest out and stretching her arms behind her in a V. Anyway, there's no time for power show and tell or a slam now, CL said, but hopefully there's Perry fur in it.
Oh no.
It's okay. I don't know if chat can see there's a huge like clump of Perry fur.
Oh gosh.
Bless her. But hopefully I'll be seeing you again if you pass the torture test. Tookie swallowed hard. The torture test? What did that mean? Seal turned for the smoke door. The winds and swirling dust had subsided, revealing the colossal wall the girls had seen from the sky. It was a mash of antiquated musical instruments, ragged slices of art canvases, clothes, outdated accessories of seasons past, and an immense assortment of architectural pieces. Marble arms and legs jutted out from the bulkhead, making it difficult to stand too close. Beyond stood the carved gold, blue, silver, and at Modelland's gates. 8 immense gears went at each corner of 2 gigantic doors. The gears were connected to steel arms, literally arms with forearms, hands and fingers that crossed the center of the 2 doors, holding them tightly in place. That was a whole sentence. That was one sentence.
Oh.
A chorus of unseen women's voices. Ululated?
I think it's like uluating.
Ululating? Okay.
I don't want to say I know what it is, but I don't want to like repeat it.
Am I not supposed to be saying it?
Well, no, you're not saying it. It's just if I make the sound, it's like whooping.
Oh, okay.
That kind of whooping noise.
Okay,
and I was just
okay. Hello, and welcome to Modelland. More people appeared around them. Other scouts and their pods, pouches, and people pockets landed on the soft fabric grass. CL and Tookie and the others. CL led Tookie and the others to a line of new Bellas standing in front of a peculiar mosaic-tiled face. Its features seemed to shift depending on where you were standing, much like looking in a funhouse mirror. To the left or right, the face looked distorted and terrifying, but when you stood directly in front of it, the face was 3-dimensional and breathtaking. What we do here, Shiraz asked. This is where you register, CL explained. The girls watched as an ash blonde Bella approached the mosaic face. VK of Nordenswee. She said, referring to an icy land.
Oh God.
Norway, Denmark, Sweden. Nordenswee.
Oh my gosh.
The mosaic face abruptly sprung to life, its bulbous eyes opening. Validated, it yelled. A green light appeared, a striped barrier lifted, and VK advanced to a holding area beyond the gates. Franca of Cappuccina, the girl in line said. Authenticated, the face steamed. Franca joined VK. Kamalini of Chakra, said a girl wearing an intricately embroidered chartreuse wrap dress made of endless yards of finest silk. One arm was full of gold bangles, and her eyes were decorated with smiles, which fluttered over every time she blinked. Documented. A girl with toned golden thighs stepped forward. Bibiana of Terra Bossa Nova. Confirmiated. The face scrunched up, seeming to know full well that confirmiated wasn't a word. Oh, really, Tyra?
Oh
that's not a word.
That's
Tyra.
the one word.
The one squeaky wheel in this lingo.
And then you call it out, and it's like, oh.
Tookie, Piper, Dylan, and Shiraz moved up the line. In front of her, Tookie spotted a familiar girl with pin-straight auburn hair in a golden yellow dress with matching shoes. She had brilliant white teeth and an attitude as thick as the afternoon air in Peppertown. You have a thick attitude. Tookie sucked in a breath. No, this can't be happening. Zarpesa of Metopia, the auburn-haired girl, shrilled haughtily. Corroborated. Zarpesa? Tookie blurted out. Zarpesa turned at the sound of her name. Her eyes clapped on Tookie's. And horror rippled across her lovely face. Then, without saying a word, she turned and marched to a holding area. So she did see me at the dumpsters, Tookie thought. Clearly, Zarpesa doesn't want to relive that moment. A few more girls passed... Where, you were bowling her? Yeah, probably not. A few more girls passed on through... One of them, a tall, raven-haired girl, wearing way too much makeup. And sequined miniskirt that was hacked all the way up to her butt cheeks. Again with the butt cheeks. Get some water every time somebody says butt cheeks. I'll get you more water in a second.
Oh, thank you.
Skirt. Nothing but 2 giant faux diamonds covered her chest. Chest runnings from Beignet. She lilted seductively into the mosaic. How old are these kids supposed to be?
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure she's probably like a teenager.
There's so much problematic coming from every angle. I'm just like, I don't know how to deal with all of this.
It's Tyra. Let's just everything she says. It's like Tyra, no.
Tyra, no, honey. We hit racism, objectifying minors, and like all in one.
Ableism.
It was a trifecta. We got all of them in like 20 pages.
Okay, we need to make a shirt that says Tyra Y. We need a Tyra Y.
Tyra Y.
They're like 15 is what chat is
Yikes.
saying. So it's like, and we just got a clear description of
her butt and boobs. I don't like that.
This young lady from Beignet.
Into the mosaic face, she shimmered a little, showing off her round, pert butt.
Taking a shot of water.
Then it was Tookie's turn. Tookie from Metopia, she whispered at the mosaic. Louder, the face moved. Tookie, Metopia? Peppertown? She said a teensy bit louder. The face paused. Here it comes, Tookie thought, the revelation of the day of discovery, administrative error. The painting smiled awkwardly and yelled, substantiated? But it didn't sound so sure of its decision. Before the face could change its mind, CL ushered Tookie into the holding area. Then CL walked back to the face, leaned down, and whispered something into where its ears would be if it had any. The other scouts accompanying their Bellas stood on their toes to see what the famed 777 Intoxibella was doing. At first, CL laughed as if the face had told her a joke. But then Tookie noticed that CL's lips weren't moving. She wasn't really whispering anything to the mosaic at all. What was happening, however, was that one of her jeweled tentacles was making contact with the face. A surge of sparks traveled from the tip of the tentacles to the mosaic's mouth. The face looked temporarily stunned. All of its tiles were suddenly scrambled. Shiraz, Dylan, Piper, commanded CL. Come up here, now! Shiraz approached the face. Say your name, Shiraz, CL urged. Shiraz, from Vindicated, the face trilled before Shiraz could finish. Then CL yanked Dylan up to the face. Name, CL insisted. Dylan, from Predicated. CL pushed Piper forward and positioned her dead center. Speak now, CL barked. Justificated. The tiles fell back into place. Other Bellas stepped up, not even noticing anything was amiss. CL shoved Piper, Dylan, Shiraz, and Tookie into the holding area. She pushed them so hard, Tookie tripped over her big feet, nearly tumbling to the grass. Dylan helped her up. What was that about? Dylan whispered to Tookie. What? Don't you like the express lane? CL snapped harshly, but then she winked. Tookie, so we're all okay. Tookie stared at her, puzzled. Was CL on their side or not? The last of the new Bellas marching into the holding area. The last of the new Bellas marched into the holding area. Tookie counted 100 girls in total. She also kept a running tally of the number of smizes, 6. The 7th was Miracles. She was supposed to be here, not Tookie. Suddenly, the giant gears on the gates began to turn, generating a deep rumble that Tookie could feel in her feet. Oh my god, sorry guys. In her feet. Slowly, the gates opened inward. CL bent down to the girls. Alrighty then, my job here has been completed for now. Back to the torture chamber for me, and the beginning of it for you. Shiraz looked alarmed. Torture for you and us? CL shrugged. Beyond your wildest nightmare. And as for me, I got myself into this mess. What mess? Tookie inquired, hoping she didn't sound prying or rude. Oh, I'd hate to sound rude after somebody was like, I'm gonna put you in the torture chamber. But CL just turned away with a flash of golden light. A hole opened in the ground. CL fell backwards into it and was gone. One by one, all the other scouts melted or flashed away, leaving the new Bellas alone. The gates continued to roll open. Tookie squinted to make out her very first glimpse of Modelland. Through the still narrow slit, she saw that it was like nothing she could have ever imagined. I'm gonna go get you more water.
Thank you so much.
Chat, hang on, I'll be right back. Gabe has no water because they said butt too many times.
Oh gosh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm melting. I'm melting. I just remember learning how that whole part of the Wizard of Oz with the Wicked Witch of the West melting was like not a thing. It was fake. So witches don't actually turn to water or don't melt because Elphaba is just like, just kidding, it was a prank, everybody. I'm running away. Everyone here is kind of mean, so I'm doing what I want. We're on chapter 14 now. That's good. I don't know what the percentage we're through. We're on page 149 of 560. Not including 563 pages. We are 149 out of 563. So we're almost at the 400 mark. We are doing so well. CL is such a train wreck. Well, yeah, it's just like, but is she like, or it's just the matter of train wrecks that are happening where it's just like, okay, this person's less of a train wreck, but this person is more of a train wreck. Yay, thank you. I've just been talking to myself.
It's okay. You're talking to them. You're not talking to yourself. There's a candy wrapper on the floor that I put here and forgot about. Hang on.
Well, I guess that's something. Still feels like not much anything has happened. True. Well, it's just like, here, let's describe this place fully, but we never see it again. It's like, why can't we just describe Modelland?
We could have been done by now.
Exactly.
All right, I missed a lot in chat. I kept reading and just being like, oh, I don't have time to ask what chat's thinking, but I have a feeling I know.
People are like, they're 15, 16. All she had to do was say they're 18 and it's slightly better.
Yeah. Or just not talk about their butts so much.
Yeah.
That's also a possibility.
Yeah, let's not do that. I'm sure if this was made into an anime, they'd get real weird with an entire, be like, do it. And it's like, no, let's not. Oh, and someone made a comment about shoulder pads. And that just reminds you of in season 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race, where with the acting challenge with Sasha and Shay, it's like, why do you wear all these shoulder pads? How else am I supposed to show I'm a strong woman? Vote, B-word. And it's like, oh yeah, voting.
Ellery, 3 years older, not 3 years old. Holy fucking typos.
Oh yeah, Ellery's had a long day at work, so I'm like, get those emotions out. It's fine if you misspelled.
Yeah.
I'm like right here, and I'm just like,
we all have emotions, especially reading through this. It's been a long day.
But
her eyes clapped on Tookie's. Her eyes clapped. Yeah, they say that more. They've said that more than once in this book, Ellery. Her eyes clapped onto something or somebody else. What does that mean, Tyra?
I'm just imagining someone blinking their eyes so hard they clap, and they're like, clap.
Tyra, why are you like this? I don't know. I'm still stuck back on. I couldn't even tell that it was supposed to be a foreign language because that's how nonsensical they made it. I just am so like astounded by that part. Why, Tyra?
Oh gosh, there needs to be a list of like all the problematic parts, and then we just have a shirt that's like Tyra, why? And then we wanted to make another shirt. I can't remember what it was though. In the first video, we're like, we'll put it on a t-shirt and we'll make money off of
The
it.
torture test. Again, these are minor children. Babylaroos, people under 16 years of age. Do not torture the babies. Tyra, what the fuck? I have no idea.
There's also like, oh, the 15, 16-year-old seeing the unclothed figure in front of them, and it's like,
Talkative. That's fair, Milo. I am, yeah. I get you. The body horror gets so much worse, but we're finally seeing proof of its existence. Yeah, the only one we've seen so far is the eye, the Mr. De La Crème's eye situation. CL is just kind of boring in my opinion. Also, congrats on getting to the body horror. 4 hands. Are they General Grievous? None of
General
the characters
Kenobi.
are likable. No.
Well, Dylan's 5-year-old sister was okay. I don't know.
They have dumb names for students. Wait till we get to how they tell the time. Oh no.
Oh gosh.
Is it not just telling time like you do? Of course it isn't.
What time is it? CL reaches into the ceiling and burns her hand and looks at it, and it tells her the time.
I now just want to make a book with like an artistic picture of it, or make it like a mug or a t-shirt, I mean, where it's like an artistic rendering of the eye on the front of the book and it just says Tyra Y. It's a parody and it just says Tyra Y.
And on the very bottom it could just be like, or it could be like Intoxibella, or that's not a word.
Let's just pad out everything and have fork all to do with the plot. We would have finished the book hours ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just saying we're on page 149 of 563.
Oh, God.
Yep, and then there's acknowledgements. From a scrap of paper, Modelland went from paper notebooks that I would write story beats in while sitting by the Hudson River. So thank you, Hudson. Even if your water is not as blue as I would like it to be. Okay, why are you judging the Hudson River?
She thanked the Hudson River.
She thanks the Hudson River, but then complains about the color of their water. Well, you don't just go up to a river and like, oh, I don't really like your color of your water.
Just ask people why they're white.
Oh no!
That's all they made me think of.
Oh no! And people pollute the river. What is the river able to do? Like, come on, Tyra. One of the other problems.
Says we must read the acknowledgements because they are wild.
Oh, okay. With the acknowledgements, we have 569 pages. Thank you, Dar.
She thanks a table?
She thanks a table. Oh, Tyra, why? Oh my, Ellery, you need to copyright that.
Tyra, why? With an I, yes, because I feel that's very much how it would be spelled in Modelland, yes.
Oh my god.
Why? Tyra Y is just the whole. That's it. That's the book.
Gosh, I'm trying to like skim to look for thanking the table. She could run in some delicious places. Morocco, Lake Como. Do you make fun of Lake Como's water color? I don't know.
It genuinely gives off this vibe that, like, when it comes to, like, the way that she portrays the different nations, it almost feels like she's like, well, if I'm offensive to everybody equally, they can't call me out on it. Christ.
I've offended everyone equally. Or that just reminds me of in...
Crotches is also in the acknowledgement.
What?
We're like, hang on, before we read more of this atrocious book, we need to know.
To the person reading this book, my first novel, I express my deepest gratitudes. You're welcome. Oh, we're thanked. Oh, thank you to my Twitter and Facebook fam. Thank you to Harvard Business School. Darn it, I can't.
That she didn't graduate. That she didn't go to.
Yeah, or
well,
she like took a class.
A class, which is something. That's fine. But it is funny that she's like, I went to Harvard. It's like,
did you? John. She thinks someone named John. Sorry, Perry Spurs.
Like, oh God, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so people are wondering, why is he touching his face so much? Oh, yes, here it is. You miraculously made are the Tyra Banks company, my kick butt team that keeps our company running. I see our beauty. Hope you lioness of the fierce jungle with great hair. You miraculously managed my insane life, allowing you to focus on the completion of Modelland. Crotches! Winky emoji. Sabrina, our office gypsy, thanks for your intense
Oh
work ethic and keen
no!
eye.
Oh no, Tyra! We don't say that.
I'm so confused. Why did she say that?
What? Tyra? The G word?
Oh! Oh! I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Oh.
Gabe's, I don't think it's your fault, Gabe. It's Tyra's fault. Why did she say that?
I'm sorry.
It's,
I forgot. Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
and by that I mean Modelland's offensiveness. Is this the book equivalent of the unbelievable, actually official horrible ghost stories animated English dub? In the offensiveness, maybe.
Oh my gosh, I watched the first episode and there's this one guy. He's like, oh okay, we'll see you later. And he's like, your move is stupid. This is stupid. When this B word kicks in, I'm going to Vegas. That's literally like one of the lines in the dub. And then there's one where a character is like, do you accept Jesus Christ as your one and only savior? And then one guy's like, no, I'm Jewish. And it's just like, oh gosh.
Oh god. This is just so much. I feel like some of these scenes from Twins book could be in an anime. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just
in this book, yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people who make anime would be like, oh, you're talking about or with that one girl with the cut up skirt and the diamonds on here. I'm sure a lot of anime makers would jump on that immediately. Unfortunately. Have you seen anime? I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just talking about Anyway, okay.
Oh my god.
I'm starting chapter 14 now.
Go for it.
Okay. Arnacia Rosa de Sicilia.
Oh my god.
The great gates creaked open to reveal a path through a large entrance hall. Lining the entrance hall on both sides of the hall were about 20 statues of women, each more glorious and stunning than the one before. Tookie, Shiraz, Dylan, and Piper slowly walked down the path, awestruck and a little frightened. The statues were massive, and all were in distinctive poses. One with chin-length hair was doing a split midair. Another with a long ponytail was draped that draped all the way to the ground, had limbs that roped around her body like a pretzel. A sign above the figures read, if you do not respect us, we will shake, rattle, and roll you. Who are they? Tookie thought. What are they? After they exited the halls of statues, they entered a large clearing. Laser fireworks zinged above them, forming the letters Bienvenue, one at a time, then Willkommen, and then finally Bienvenida. The words fluttered to dust, which tickled the girls when it touched their skin. The scent of rich, sweet citrus filled Tookie's nostrils, making her mouth water. I smell something good. Shiraz waved the scent in the air towards her nose. It's Arancio Rosa de Sicilia, Piper explained clinically. Arachno what? Dylan snorted at her hard. I think it's blood orange, Tookie said tentatively. The pulp looks like blood, but they taste so good. This place is so beautiful. It's blowing my mind. Don't faint, girl. Dylan chanted to herself. Don't faint. Ableism.
Okay.
A crystalline all-glass skyscraper stood before them. It towered high into the sky, shaped like a giant M. The building glowed from the inside as though radioactive. Have you ever seen anything like this? Shiraz sang out, stretching her arms and spinning around. I'll give you my firstborn if you stop singing everything, Dylan muttered. But then she shot Shiraz a good-natured smile. A line of 10 girls in matching attire waited in the distance. They looked older than the new Bellas and appeared to be from all different parts of the world. Some had blonde hair, others had hooded eyes, and others had ebony skin. Strangely, however, their different skin tones and hair colors aside, they kind of resembled each other. They wore two-tone yellow pointy-shouldered vests and matching leotards over tight pants. Their cinturas looped around their waist twice. Shiny diamond-shaped badges fastened to their chests read, Modelland Bella Tour Guide. The troop of uniformed girls surveyed Tookie, Dylan, Shiraz, and Piper as they neared, shooting questioning looks at each other. The question was obvious. What are those four doing here? I'm wondering that myself, Tookie thought nervously. Come, come, the tour guides called to the advancing girls. Tookie headed toward them. Smooth, seamless gold paved the plaza in front of the M building. As she began to cross it, the ground started to move a bit, wobbling and shimmering ever so slightly. Reflection inspection, one of the uniformed girls bellowed. Suddenly, the gold surface bubbled and curved upward around the line of uniformed girls. With astonishing speed, the material melded into perfect three-dimensional gold versions of each other. Oh my lordy! Dylan clutched her breast. The guides surveyed themselves in their gold reflections, fixing a hair out of place and a smudge of lipstick. The liquid gold substance mimicked them exactly, a mirror image in 3 dimensions. Then the guide's reflections quickly dropped back into the ground, which reverted to a flawless, smooth, caramel-colored surface. Now you, one uniformed girl said to the cluster of new bellas. Tookie stuck her toe on the surface, solid. She walked slowly onto the gold. The other girls from her pouch followed suit. As the golden liquid rose before them, Dylan started to move and pose. She's good, Tookie thought, but then instead of mimicking Dylan's body, the gold formed a giant question mark. Tookie looked at her own golden shape. It had become a question mark too. So had Piper's and Shiraz's. Every other girl in the plaza had normal gold doppelgangers standing before them. Ha! The ground is more confused about them than I am, Zarpessa snorted. The girl named Chast, whose diamond pasties were threatening to slip off, snickered.
Ew.
She's probably 16, Tyra. I've never seen the reflection pool use punctuation before, said a voice behind Tookie. Tookie and her 3 pouch mates spun on their heels. Behind them stood a strikingly beautiful, incredibly tall girl wearing a 2-tone leotard uniform. She had long, shiny, reddish hair with lots of bounce and body, dark brown almond-shaped eyes that turned up in a friendly way, and a smile on her face that made her look as though she was on the verge of bursting into laughter, the kind of laughter with you, not at you. Excuse me, the pretty girl said. I'm looking for Tookie De La Crème from Peppertown, Metopia. She had a Beijingle accent. Beijingle? Is this the Australian one? I wonder, chat, is she Australian? Should I do my Australian accent for her? That's me, Tookie said shyly. The pretty girl squinted, perplexed. You're Tookie? You look, well, anyways, hi. I'm so happy I found you. She thrust out her hand. I'm Zen Zen. It is my destiny to be your Modelland Bella tour guide today. Then she smiled slyly and whispered, well, maybe not exactly my destiny. I swapped my group for yours. But hey, destinies, what you make it, right? I mean, you flew here in CL, didn't you? I just had to meet you. I'm kind of obsessed with her. Before Zen Zen could finish gushing, Guru Applause, which was passing in a rush, yelled, Zen Zen, authenticity and originality are très important to couture, as they are to identity. Return your cheveux to its color of origin, or you will be removed from Bella tour guide duties. Zen Zen rubbed her forehead and blinked, as if she was creeping quickly toward a panic attack. But I look best in this color. Guru Applause, head reddened. If you do not return to your natural color, I will send you to the belladonna. Okay. And then Zen Zen's hair morphed from a soft reddish brown waves to pin straight waist length coal black hair parted down the middle. Ugh, I hate when they have to make me change my hair back, she said morosely. Look, if CL had long black hair, I wouldn't mess with Mother Nature, okay? So it's not about what looks best on me, it's about what looks best on CL, which in turn looks best on me. Dylan was eyeing Zen Zen like she should be locked up in a mental facility. CL selected us too, Shiraz said enthusiastically, pulling Piper and Dylan in for a tight hug. Zen Zen grinned at all of them, snapping out of her funk. Lucky, you all spent intense, intimate time with CL. You got to speak with her, to touch her, to be chosen by her. If I could roll back time and be newbie Bellas like you all and get swooped up and jingle square by CL, oh goodness golly gracious, that would be amazing. When I was 11, I actually tried to change my name to Zen L, but my parents refused to let me. Okay, on with that Bella tour. Zen Zen pulled her shiny diamond-shaped badge from her chest and peered in it. With a series of clicks and clacks, the badge unfolded until it was the size of a magazine. Zen Zen studied it intently. So, Tookie, I've got your name here, but your buddies aren't on my list. That's weird. She rubbed the surface of the card as if somehow their names would appear. Shiraz, Dylan, and Piper looked at one another nervously. Tookie felt a stab of worry too. She didn't want anything to happen to them. Then Zen Zen's eyes widened at something across the courtyard. CL had appeared once more, standing next to a glowing building. She raised one jeweled tentacle at Zen Zen and gave her an eerie, wide-eyed look. Wait a minute. Zen Zen held the card out. There are 3 new names here. Dylan of Big Teak Nation, Piper of Sans Color, and Shiraz of Candelabra. Look at that. The girls let out sighs of relief. Tookie wondered if CL had something to do with it, but she couldn't think about it for too long. When she looked up again, Zen Zen was halfway across the courtyard, leading them over to a group of new recruits. This group of girls inspected Dylan, then Shiraz, then Piper, then Tookie. Their eyes grew narrow and their brows more furrowed. Whispers began. Oh, sister, we are getting bitterballed by those girls, Dylan muttered. Bitterballed? Piper raised an eyebrow. Bitterballs are an Alpha 592 of the Big Teak, Dylan explained. They clear up all sorts of gastrointestinal problemos, but Lordy, the expression on their face gets stuck. Lordy, the expression your face gets stuck in while your belly is getting healed is a stinker. I see your point, Dylan, Piper admitted. These young ladies probably think we cheapened the prize. Zen Zen and the other girls stopped at the group Zarpessa and Chast were in, which didn't have a Bella tour leader. I'm head tour guide, Zen Zen said, and I'll take you 2 groups from here. Stay with me? I wouldn't want you to get clawed on your first day, she laughed nervously. Clawed? Tookie wondered. Zen Zen led the girls down a long crescent-shaped path toward the left side of the M building. The entire golden area in front of the M building is called the M Plaza, she recited. The M building houses the Belladonna and all the Modelland administration and who knows what else. One must never go inside unless explicitly invited, she gestured to her left. All the way down this path and directly on the other side of the M building is the O, where later the Belladonna will welcome you. Can you guess what it stands for? Ovaries?
Sorry.
Chess called out slyly. Obi, tried a girl from Fuji. Ox tongue, Shiraz explained. Oddballs, Tookie whispered. No, Zen Zen grinned. The O is for, she drew it out. Opera. Shiraz's eyes nearly popped out of her head. Opera? We get to do the singing here at Modelland too? Ooh-wee, I sing lead. Unfortunately, Shiraz, Zen Zen lamented, you will not be the star of that show. Then Zen Zen launched back into her tour script. The Belladonna is the latest generation of the Modelland royal line and has commanded the school for 10 years. The statues that line the entrance hall pass Belladonnas. The group strolled down the path until they came upon a circle of floating images of the world's current most famous Intoxibellas. There was a special section for the newest 7/7s, the ones Tookie had seen in the demonstration the other day. Evangelinda, Simone, Cindessa, Lemora, Katucha, Bevjo, and Exodus. Seeing Exodus' name sent a pang through Tookie's chest. Our escape plan, Lizzie. What was she doing now? Where had she gone? Why that one all staticky? Shiraz whispered, pointing to one. Maybe I can fix it, Piper suggested. Who is it? Zen Zen bit her lip. It's my glorious and most magnificent CL, but I can't speak about why her image is fuzzy. It hurts my heart too much. Tookie and the girls looked at each other. Please tell us, Tookie said. God, you don't know anything? Zarpessa piped up, catching up to them from the back of the group. CL went rogue. My colorist aunt, sister's grandfather's daughter knows her, and she said CL lost her mind trying to beat on her own crazy drum. Zen Zen went, oh, please don't say it like that. But Zarpessa breezed on, enjoying knowing something the others did not. And my uncle's daughter's best friend's designer's buddy told me that the reason CL is back in Modelland is because she's being punished for being off message. Chast looked impressed at Zarpessa's knowledge. All the girls in the group chattered with the new bit of gossip. Tookie's ears burned with the sounds of different languages swarming around her. Words from Quato, the land of safaris and tribal dance filled the air. I wonder how they're punishing her. Phrases from Tulip, the land of windmills, engulfed her. Do you think she'll lose her Intoxibellas status forever? 2 girls muttered in Pyramidian. Has CL truly lost her mind? Chas snorted. CL's gone loony. She brought them here. She gestured to Tookie and the others. Bitterballs for sure. Enough gossip, Zen Zen said angrily. She bolted ahead of the group, holding herself stiffly, and turned down a narrow sidewalk off the main path. The group stood in front of an enormous wall of twisted trees and plants with rapidly moving large bulbs and ivy-like vines, all made of fabric, Tookie assumed. As, excuse me. As they watched, the vine wall sprouted immense burgundy and eggplant-hued metal horns. Zen Zen dove straight towards the horn. Right before they should have impaled her, the thick vines parted, revealing the new path made of mural-like stones. Come on, girls, she called over her shoulder. You are now entering Beautification Boulevard. This is where all your classes will occur, assuming, of course, that you survive. THBC. THBC, Tookie swallowed. What's that? Zen Zen turned around, her face reddening. Actually, I'm not supposed to mention it, she whispered. I really wish I could tell you, but Guru Gennaro likes to keep it a secret. I'll give you one teensy hint. It's a special test, not for the fashion week or faint of heart. Tookie dared to glance at the other girls. Shiraz, Piper, Dylan, and quite a few others in the group looked nervous. Their pets, on the other hand, shrugged nonchalantly, tossing her auburn hair over her shoulder. Then Zen Zen whipped around and continued to walk. Beautification Boulevard consists of dozens of distinct structures, each designed specifically for one class, she explained. Each structure's architecture directly correlates to the subject matter you experience with them. CL was a master of all of her courses on this row. To this day, not one student has surpassed her extraordinary skill. Zarpessa flounced the ends of her yellow dress. That's because I just got here. Tookie looked down the boulevard. At the far end was a large open-work structure shaped like an immense egg. A narrow wooden plank traversed its center, and there was a scoreboard. Spectators' seats lined the inside of the frame. What kind of game is that for, Tookie wondered. That, Zen Zen, pointing at the egg buildings as though reading Tookie's mind, is the Orb Arena, where pretty boys and gorgeous girls battle in man attack. The one class you'll have with our Brother Male Modeling Academy, Testosterone. Bring it on, Chas crowed. Can we do that today? No, we never know when man attack will happen, Zen Zen said. It's always a surprise. And anyways, girls, males are accessories at Modelland. Don't ever forget, we're the stars, not the boys. Yeah, they do some modeling stuff, but basically have them here to work for us. Build our buildings, provide security, and eye candy. That sort of thing.
Reverse sexism?
Yeah. I mean, I was saying...
Hashtag equality?
Yeah, I was saying earlier, we need equal male objectification in media, so I mean, let's go for it. They continued down the boulevard, passing more fantastical and unique structures. Windowless plaid cubes about the size of a department store, balanced on the very tip of one of the corners. To the left, Tookie saw a ship bobbing on a body of water that seemed to appear out of nowhere. Through the round portholes, she could see just make out a classroom session. The group of girls stood in neat, even rows, making bizarre faces in unison. That building is where the Kara classes take place, Zen Zen explained. Tookie wasn't sure if she should feel excited or alarmed. She'd never been on a boat before. The only opportunity to go on the water in Metopia was on a yacht in Ladorno, and only the rich got to do that. Then Tookie swiveled around and stared in the direction down the boulevard, fixing her eyes on an immense octagon-shaped course broken up by high walls, gravel pits, flame floors, ropes that whipped indiscriminately, jutting corners, sections of runways, and, of all things, spinning dance floors. As if that wasn't confusing enough, thumping trance music began to pump loudly from the space. Shiraz started bopping to the beat. Dylan swore, "You really can't help yourself, can you?" Tookie watched Shiraz, feeling a familiar pang. Shiraz's dancing reminded her of Miracle, but then Shiraz was much more pleasant to be around. So, what is this place? Tookie asked Zen Zen after an impromptu dance party had ended. It looks like an obstacle course or something. You're very close, Zen Zen smiled at her. The final year Bellas, that would be me and my class, train on that course for the 7-7 tournament. Dylan raised her eyes. I didn't know the 7-7 actually trained. I thought it was just about who was the prettiest, which certainly wouldn't be you, Zarpessa said under her breath. The prettiest? Zen Zen giggled, addressing Dylan's question. Oh, Dylan, haven't you seen the pretty here is just a commodity, that every girl is easily exchangeable for the next Bella? There's so much more to the equation. Equation? Piper looked excited. If it deals with mathematics, specifically algorithmic statistics, I'll be an immense help to you all. Zarpessa rolled her eyes. Where did CL dig up this idiot savant? She whispered loud enough for everyone to hear. Chas giggled. There's no need to worry about the 7-7 tournament now, Zen Zen assured them, ignoring Zarpessa. You're years away from competing. Then Tookie noticed a girl wearing a long, flowing giraffe print gown and 5-inch leopard heels running the 7-7 course. She dodged the flames, nimbly cleared the walls, expertly walked the runway upside down, and gracefully performed a dance routine before disappearing into a waterfall. Zen Zen's nose wrinkled. Of course, Caitlin would be practicing already. We aren't supposed to start until 2 weeks before the 7-7 announcement. I should report her. Zen Zen checked the timepiece on her wrist. Oh goodness, golly gracious! I have to finish fast. She started walking again. This is only one section of Modelland. There are much more that you will be allowed to experience firsthand. Should you survive THBC? Oops! She clapped her hand over her mouth. Pretend I didn't say that, okay? Whatever THBC is, I can't imagine all of us surviving it. Zarpessa simpered, viciously eyeing Tookie's crew. Then Zen Zen motioned for all the girls in the group except for Tookie, Piper, Dylan, and Shiraz to gather together. The girls did so, eyeing Tookie and the others with snarky confusion. I have one last piece of knowledge to share with you, Zen Zen leaned in close. It's about Catwalk Corridor. Technically, I'm not supposed to warn you about it, but when CL used to give these tours, she always broke the rules a bit and warned the girls. So beware Catwalk Corridor. You never know where it may appear. It's nothing stinging antiseptic and a tetanus shot couldn't fix, but still, it can give you a fright. Tookie's stomach roiled with dread. Then Zen Zen giggled nervously. Really, Catwalk Corridor isn't half as bad as the ugly room. You don't ever want to get sent there. And then there are some of the natural dangers around this place. She leaned even closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. You all know about the diabolical divide, right? For sure, that's a big, scary no. Don't you dare enter it. And there's more than one way to get to it, so be careful. Rarely, like every few years, but so often, if you ask me, the divide sends out fireballs at Modelland. Many years ago, a fireball landed right on top of the old 7-7 stadium. It burned the whole thing down, and a bunch of girls died. And screech! A piercing alarm cut off Zen Zen's tirade. Hordes of tour groups ran down the boulevard, stampeding past Tookie and her group in a blur of arms and legs. Zen Zen waved her arms around. That's the buzzer. Run, girls, to the O. Back through the thorn bush. You know the way. Now. Shiraz took off instantly in a cheetah-like sprint. Piper was close behind her, her gallop precise and efficient, like she was speeding forward but barely moving at the same time. Dylan followed. Her run a sexy swagger. Tookie had not yet moved. She felt stuck, compelled to observe just for a moment. She considered her place in this place, the place every girl in the world wanted to be, the place that produced the only world-famous people on the planet. Where did she fit in here? From the looks of nearly perfect bodies that ran ahead of her, minus the 3 misfits who accompanied her on the trek, she knew she was living not her fate, but someone else's miracles. Tookie wasn't sure if she should run and hide or run to catch up with the girls sprinting towards their destinies. Run! A kind-faced girl whose eyes were decorated with the smiles and who wore a headphone contraption tapped Tookie on the shoulder. Come on, you can do it! It felt like a sign. Tookie lifted her right leg, then her left. She started to run. 4 steps later, her large right foot caught on the back of her left leg. She stumbled, suddenly airborne, then went straight down into a textbook Tookie De La Crème fall.
Tyra Y.
Tyra Y.
Mallory says, I feel like Tyra Y is my new catchphrase. Yeah.
We're almost at the 400 page mark if we're including acknowledgements.
Oh my god. I can't believe this woman used a slur in her acknowledgements.
Yeah. That I accidentally said out loud. I'm sorry.
It's just. I'm stress eating over here.
Yeah. She FDR drive and drive down a piece of scratch paper and tucked it into my purse.
Tarfield Hour just says yikes. Yes, it is. It is. The whole book is yikes.
I'm so oh gosh, just ableism.
I had to update to put in racism and ableism.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
If it looks taller now, it's because it is.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that at first. I was just kind of like,
Uh,
Looking to see how long this chapter is. 163 to 178. So 15 pages.
you want me to read it now, or do we want to call it and come back next? It's not on you, Gabe. It's on Tyra. Yeah, it's on Tyra, because you were just like automatically reading. Like your brain, like I always get scared because like sometimes when you're reading books like this, that specific word was in a Wishbone book, and I was almost said it, and I was like, redacted. I was because your brain just like starts getting into this place where it's just like, okay, words. That's a bad word. We don't say that word.
Oh no.
It's on Tyra for giving her friend a cutesy pet name that contains the G slur. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like Tyra. Why?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm okay with like stopping for now.
Okay.
If that's okay.
I think we're all okay with it. We made it. We actually got a big chunk of the way through.
I know. I would say 1/5 of the way.
Oh God. Should I update Goodreads? And it's just like we've made it to page 162.
Tyra, why?
Tyra, why? Oh God.
I'm gonna steal some of these.
Yeah, take them. There's so many in this house. I think they're multiplying.
Where do you get them from?
My mom got like tubs of them to give out at Halloween, and we just have a ton.
Oh wow, and Halloween was months ago.
I know, we're still eating them, and I eat a lot of them.
And they're still there.
It's just another Tyra Y in the long list of Tyra Ys.
It's Tyra Y.
I do now want to make a t-shirt with an eye painting that
Yeah.
just says Tyra Y.
Instead of Tyra Banks Modelland, it's Tyra Y. All the way down. Oh, with the Tyra Y. On the light green eyes.
Oh gosh.
Oh, the M-shaped building.
I didn't even process that it was an M-shaped building. I somehow my brain is like I can only take in so much. That is not on the top of the priority list.
Oh wait, the eye behind the M is it supposed to be green, but it's silhouetted, but it looks kind of brown. Is this supposed to be Tookie's eyes?
Those are her eyes.
Oh, the snot green and the dirt brown.
If you open up the book, it's her face.
Dun dun
Because
dun.
like this is like one of her eyebrows, and this is like the other. Like it's her face.
It was Tookie all along.
Oh God, I would give so much money to just be watching WandaVision right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I could. I was in WandaVision. I was so sad because I was the only one pushing a gurney in there, and you could see me for like a split second, and I'm like, I had to push that gurney 20 freaking times.
And you're like, no.
20 plus times, and it was really funny because I had one of those individuals that like to tell me how to do my job, and or he was an extra, not a PA, and he was like, maybe you need to push it like this so we can get the timing right, and I'm like, and then they like kicked him out because it was too people heavy around the gurney, and and after that I was able to get the timing perfectly for it. So I'm just like, well, Mr. Tell me how to do my job. You fail, I win. But then I wasn't seeing that much. So who won in the end? Tyra did. She has money. She has more money than all of us. Unless there's like a secret rich person in the chat.
Tyra herself is in the chat.
Oh God!
Talking about my book.
Oh, I can imagine some Tyra having like a Google alert, and there's like one ping blinking light, or there's a computer, and it turns on, and you just see a one blinking off to the side, and you hear someone approaching it, and they like click on it, and it's like. And then cut to a close up of the eye being illuminated by the computer, and it's a green eye.
Tyra 100% strikes me as the kind of person to have like sock accounts to just be able to like creep and see what people are saying about her online.
Well, apparently with all of her Twix interviews, she's been watching it through the Instagram lives on different accounts.
Yeah.
At least I think so. But
yeah.
But she's watching.
Always watching.
Watching.
Oh God.
That's a funny.
The Tyra Y t-shirt is gonna have to have at least a similar font too. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And we won't be in trouble with copyright because anyone can be named Tyra.
Yeah. This is 100% my own individual thought. It is the thought that I've been thinking since the beginning of this book. Tyra, why?
Tyra, why?
The closest thing to a secret rich person in this chat are the demons who have invested in the time stone that is the timeshare that is my soul.
Oh, I always love the memes where it's like demon invades my body. Ow. Ooh, yeah, I know, right? Ooh, oh, why does my back feel like that? What is this feeling? And it's like, yep.
Clothing.
Unadulterated loathing.
No, that's the wrong word. I was wrong. You were
Oh.
right. I haven't seen that in a while.
For your face, your voice, your clothing. Let's just say, I love it all.
Oh my god. It's just. Oh my god.
It's just.
The chat kept being like, it's gonna be worse. It's gonna be worse. And I'm like, how is it worse? And then, that kind of. Oh
gosh.
Okay.
Now they're running. Go. Then Tookie fell down. Oh no. Oh, is the person with the kind faced girl whose eyes are decorated with smiles and who wore a headphone contraption tap Tookie. Is she gonna come back, or is she just like a plot device that's been telling Tookie, or that needs to tell Tookie she needs to hurry?
Texas, I'm so sorry for you. I'm very grateful that you're here though. Hi Ollie. So I think we have decided to spare ourselves from reading another chapter tonight. We've read 160 something pages today.
162.
And it's been a lot. We hit the trifecta, as we said, of racism, ableism, and there was another offensive thing. I cannot
racism, ableism, sexism. Oh, with the men, it was reverse sexism.
Oh yeah. And then the sexualizing minors part. So you know, we hit all the key touchstones of what the fuckery.
Oh gosh, that needs to be a shirt too.
What the fuckery?
Yeah.
We've hit all the key touchstones of what the fuckery. It's all because of Tyra Banks.
All because of Ollie's
reading my book to keep saying that's good. Good literature is a distant memory to me.
I open like a kid's book. It's just like Hello Moon. Oh yes. A book I can read.
Next week I'm gonna be reading like Nancy Drew notebooks to them and just being like, look at the lack of racial profiling in this book.
Sans color.
The names of the countries. Somebody said earlier in chat, I can't believe more people are not offended by the names of the countries. And somebody else said, you have to read the book to be offended by it. It's like, you know what? You're right. Probably nobody read far enough in the book to be offended.
Yeah.
Oh, this book makes the world of the 1800s look really good.
Oh, gosh.
I missed that. Oh, it's so bad. It's getting so much worse.
Apparently there's going to be more body horror. There's apparently more torture. It is
and people talk about this all the time, the parallel of it being written in a way that feels like you're talking down to an 8-year-old, but then there's like this horrifying violence, and it's like, who is this book for?
Yes.
What target demographic is young enough to appreciate the way that this is worded, but also be okay with the body horror?
Yeah, and it's just like, is it supposed to teach them about that and be like, oh no, but then there's nothing said about it, like, hey, you need to talk to someone about your problems if you're having them. This is not okay. Or it just reminds me of Velma, when you were talking about Velma, and you're like, who is this made for? Because it has the names of the characters, but they're just, no one's likable.
Yeah, it's like got this, like, they're in high school, but it's clearly meant for adults because it's a mature, like, adult comedy, but like they have, like, they're still in high school. So it's like, who's watching? Who's supposed to be watching this? Ellery says racism, ableism, gender inequality, sexualization of minors, aka Modelland's problematic bingo.
There needs to be like a Modelland problematic bingo and America's Next Top Model problematic bingo, and you have to and the game is you have to pick a random, or you have to pick a random episode and hopefully you get a bingo with it for America's Next Top Model. After like episode 6, it's already
interesting.
So episode 7 was good.
Episode 7 was all right. Yeah, Ollie, if Darth, to answer your question, we are we are done reading for the night at 162 pages. We will pick up the next time Gabe is here. I'm sure people won't be like, oh no, we have to read other books now. How could we? But episode 7 and the end of 6
Oh, okay.
So it's like the way Star Wars fans think about Star Wars. It's like the end of the second half of this one and this one movie were good.
I don't know what people thought were good anymore because people were trashing the prequels, but then 7 and 8, or I think it was 8 that came out, and everyone's like, "Oh, the prequels aren't that bad." I'm like, no, people were trashing them the entire time. You can't just be like, "Oh, I don't like that this 8 was a filler movie, so they suck, and the prequels are really good." I remember someone was like, "I prefer the prequels to The Last Jedi." Or the Force Awakens. They were like, the prequels are better than The Force Awakens, and I'm like, but I feel like The Force Awakens is the best of the 3 from what I've heard.
The Force Awakens is definitely the best out of the trilogy.
Yeah. Then John Boyega deserved better.
We have HBO for now to see The Last of Us still. We're not bothering with Velma. Don't bother with Velma. It's not worth it. It's so bad.
Oh, if you're in a really good mood and want to watch like a really nice depressing anime that's still nice and depressing, To Your Eternity is I don't know why, but I still have the theme song in my head and I'm like, I really want to watch it again, but it's really depressing and I prefer that over a bunch of other things.
Ollie, she put a racial slur in the acknowledgement. She was like, thanks to this person, and then used a racial slur.
Here,
we were like, what?
Here, the
camera sometimes does this. It needs to like refocus. There you go.
Oh, okay. Like right here, she is where she uses the slur, and so I'm just like, can you see it?
Yeah, I think they can see it. It's just.
Yeah.
Your Lie in April, Yuri on Ice.
Oh, Your Lie in April. I love Your Lie in April. Yuri on Ice but Yuri on Ice is a feel-good one. We're talking about depressing here.
What about my shredder? It's a Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared ref, and it just says, what about my shredder? For 406 pages.
Oh my god.
That's funny. And I haven't even seen Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Everybody wants me to talk about it, and I'm frightened.
I've never heard of that.
It's a parody of like kids like Sesame Street, like PBS stuff, but it's really creepy and has puppets and yeah.
Oh no, not the creepy puppet.
The cast of the newer Star Wars trilogy deserves better, given how their movie turned into a dick measuring contest between 2 writers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, justice for Rose too.
Justice for
Well, yeah, the cast, and I'm just saying Rose specifically because the fans just hated her.
Oh, that's good to know, Ollie. The fans hated her. The fans hated Rey. The fans hated Finn. The fans hated what's her name? I forget her name. Finn's girlfriend.
Rose.
Rose. I thought when you said Rose, you were talking about the older lady that was like I know, but yeah, Rose.
Oh, yeah, Laura Dern's character, the one with the purple hair. Oh, I don't remember her name.
But yes, all of them. Everybody was like, we don't like these characters. Why? Because we don't. And it's like, well, all right.
No one hated on Poe, so go Poe. I can't remember. What was the actor's name?
Oh, I'm blanking on his name. I can see his face so strongly. Sorry, internet. Everybody has a crush on him. Moon Knight.
Yeah, he's on Moon Knight, and him and Pedro Pascal and he have like a bromance, and it's really like adorable. Oh, and Pedro Pascal in that one interview is like, well, he's a real daddy, but I'm a daddy. I'm your daddy. And he's just it's like, oh.
Spy X Family, though Hulu only has one of season 1.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been like, right as I finished episode 12 of Spy Family, and the subbed is when they put the dub, and I'm just like, oh, well, I'm not going back.
I'm making a cosplay of the red dude and Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That's amazing. The red dude is the really tall, like, full body puppet in Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Oh, good luck.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually very into Sailor Moon. Like, I did not expect to be this genuinely, like, attached to it by now. It's actually very fun. I
Oh, Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac.
Thank
you
you,
go.
Katie.
Thank you. I could see his face so clearly, and I was like, I could tell you his name if I wasn't trying to think of it. It's so hard right now. Modelland has broken my brain.
I'm just like, what are words now?
What are words? We don't know because all the words in here are like, what did
Okay.
they say? It's like a bad translation of a Dr. Seuss book.
Yes. Oh my god. Zarpessa. But we haven't seen Theophilios recently. There should be we should have a shirt that says Theophilios.
Tex, I have trouble with subs too. I've been getting a little bit better because the watch party that I've been watching Sailor Moon in is in the original sub, and it is like nice to see the original version. But yeah, with ADHD, I really struggle sometimes with subs. But thankfully they redid the dub, so now you don't have to have the DIC really censored version. So if you can't do the dub, you can still watch it in its actual entirety with like the actual whole plot line.
Oh yeah,
because they redid it and they put in all the parts that were taken back out because they were like, screw that. Viz Media got it and was just like, we don't like the old dub, and not a lot of other people do either. Let's just scrub that off the internet and redo it.
I'm sure the voice actors were like, yay. Oh, and people hated that Poe and Finn didn't get together. Yes, I was just like, yes, they're. Well, I like the Finn was kind of like he could have Rey or Poe, but I really wanted when he was like, Rey, I have to tell you something, and they both go in the single. I wanted him to be like, I like Poe, and Rey to be like, what? And then they go in the sinkhole because I thought that would be a better pairing. I don't know.
Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist is also a very good anime.
Oh, it's like one of the best dubs people have. And it was made by a woman and it has well-written female characters. So, yay.
We'd love to see it.
That's how you write female characters. Oh, and there's the meme going around where Riza is like or is pointing her weapon at the back of Mustang's head, and he's like, what are you doing? Do you know who you're pointing that at? And he's like, when we're alone, he calls me by my first name, and then it's revealed to be Envy, and he's like, so you were that close, and she's like, I lied, bang.
I love Castlevania so much. So many vampires I have gender envy over. There are a lot of really cool vampires in Castlevania. I haven't watched that much of it, but I do know that much. There are really cool vampires.
I think I've seen season 2, but not 3 or 4. I just was like, oh, okay. But yeah, some of the vampires in season 2 that they had, I was just like, oh, look at all these cool character designs and different characters. This is fun. And Alucard is cool. But I like the Helsing abridged Alucard. But like the Team 4-star abridged version of Alucard, where it's like, I'm Carmen Sandiego. Guess where I am? Oh, and then there's a point where Henry Van Winkle is just like, you something misogynistic, da. And then he's like, well, I would agree with you there, except for my boss is a woman. I was a chick in the 40s. I hate everyone equally, and absolutely nobody on earth can gauge my sexual preference. So check your privilege.
Oh my god.
We need to see the abridged version of Helsing Ultimate at some point after watching like Digimon and all these other things.
Where is that from? Ollie wants to know.
Oh, the things I just said?
Yeah, what is that a quote from?
The Team 4-star Helsing Ultimate Abridged.
It's got a semi-canon polyamorous quartet. Nice.
The Castlevania, yeah.
Castlevania. I need to go back and actually watch Castlevania. I love the humor in Castlevania. Thank you. Ollie is very excited about this new information.
It's really, police skull, put my head in your chest. Oh, I'm so worried. Yes, now put my head in your, oh, gosh darn it.
I was gonna say something and now I completely forgot. Feels like my brain has been liquefied, guys.
Our brains are trying to catch up to this moment in time.
I can see why everybody's like, I have trauma from this book, because I said in chat earlier, I've had this channel for a little over 2.5 years, and the whole thing has been about seeking out the nostalgic, obscure, and otherwise strange. So I feel like, and I have found a lot of like really weird media, right? Books, movies, TV, WikiHow articles, like every kind of media you could possibly think of. I have seen some pretty weird shit, and every time I'm like, I think I've seen when people are like, that one's really bad, I'm like, I've seen bad. I'm sure it's not worse. And it's worse. And this is the worst book I've ever. This is so... Oh, it's so bad, but it's also so entertaining because it's so bad.
Ollie forgot the name. Helsing Ultimate Abridged by Team 4-star.
The VOD will be available. You can just come back to this part of the VOD and be like, wait, what is it called?
But yeah, this is so weird, and I really, oh gosh, my mother loves the English language, and she's a writer and she's writing plays and stuff. I want to show her this and just to see her reaction to it, but I'm afraid I might accidentally break her brain.
Just show her some of the VODs. Just like skim through it and find like a part that you're like, okay, Mom, I'm gonna show you this clip.
Oh gosh.
I don't want to scare you, but I just need you to know that this one thing exists.
Or I could show her the conversation between Mr. and Mrs. De La Crème about Tookie's parentage. Or the situation of how Mr. De La Crème lost his eye.
Knowing Tyra's track record, at least she beats any ghostwriter allegations. I mean, there is like a co-writer listed.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's technically a ghostwriter because he's not, like, her name is on the book, but if you look it up, it says written by Tyra Banks and somebody else.
Oh.
So I don't know in what capacity that other person worked in, but she apparently, there's a lot of things in here that I'm genuinely just like, I don't think anybody but Tyra Banks could have written that. But then there's other parts in the book where I'm like, that's very much men writing women. That's probably, because I think the collaborator, I think it was like a male collaborator, so I'm like, I don't want to put that on him. But I also wonder, genuinely, if a woman would have written this, even Tyra Banks.
Like, I know the part about how men are accessories, they're not the same as us. I feel like that part was very Tyra because she talked about men are accessories in the modeling industry, so... But also, or it's like Tyra can be so inclusive, but not, because I told you this before, in cycle 24, there was the episode where they photographed with plus size male models. And I'm like, oh, that's progressive because none of the models in the editions where they had men and women, none of the guys didn't have a six-pack.
Oh.
So it was just like, oh.
I mean, it's one of those things, it's giving kind of Velma vibes, right? Where it's like, it's almost like she tried to be so inclusive that it ended up just being like these on-the-nose stereotypes that became very racist. It's probably not what she wanted, but like, the whole fact about like, oh, that girl is named after a Middle Eastern country. Oh, and then the language is just a jumble of consonants that don't even look like I genuinely didn't think it was a language. And then like, oh, it's the other one. The other girl. Like I think the where you said the last chapter where you said, is this Australia? Ellery said it's supposed to be Beijing, I think. Yeah,
I was like, oh, the auburn hair. And then I saw her name and I was just like, that's why I stopped. I was just like, oh. But I could have given her an Australian accent. I don't know. Tex is giving up. Why is Tex giving up?
Assertion of a bookworm. I haven't watched it. Husband found season 1 and need to get that.
Sorry, Ollie's talking about B-Stars and I'm just like, Team 4-Star also does like a B-Stars in 8 minutes, and one of my favorite scenes is one of the guys is like, listen here, homeroom wrecker, stay away from Legoshi. Why? You're not even his girlfriend. That's right. I'm messing around with his girlfriend. Well, I guess then I'll mess around with his boyfriend. I gotta go. P-word.
Oh my God.
It's funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel that, Texas. I can't spell either. I will literally like try to spell a word, and after like 3 times of autocorrect telling me that I'm wrong, I will use a different word.
Oh gosh, acquaintance is so hard because even autocorrect doesn't even know I'm trying to spell it.
Like when I like in my freelance editing work, the number one editing note that I get back is, hey, this looks great, but this one word is misspelled. And I'm like, of course it is.
Oh.
Of course it is.
But why? I feel like I've heard of the ascension of a bookworm, but I'm blanking. I'm sure it's an isekai, and there's so many I've said this before, there are a lot of isekais recently where it's just like, oh, the person was overworked and they unalived in their sleep, and now they're in this new world and they're using their skills and I'm just like, yeah, that's really sad when the Truck-kun is being ignored and then people are just unaliving in their sleep. Very sad. Louis and Legoshi have more Yes! Oh my gosh! I know Legoshi's supposed to be with Haru, who's also voiced by the same voice actress who voices Kari, but then she doesn't appear in the Digimon Adventure Tri films, and it's just like, why? But yeah, and Haru's just like, is just like, no, I don't like you, but I really do, but I don't like you, and then And then there's a whole point where Legoshi sees Louis after a long time and he starts wagging his tail and he's just like, I'm so excited to see you again. But then I'm like, oh, but that's his best friend. That's how best friends react. You're awkward around your crush, but then your best friend, you're like, my best friend. It's like in, I think, Kingdom Hearts 2, where it's kind of a little spoiler for Kingdom Hearts 2, but Sora meets up with Kairi and he's like, oh, hey, Kairi. But then he sees Riku and he's like, Riku, I thought I'd never see you again. Spoiler, sorry.
It's fine. I was gonna say something. Ellis is barking downstairs. If you guys want to try Chinese anime equivalent, I suggest scrolling up for my recommendations. Not gonna repost it and be you're never annoying, Ellery. We appreciate Ellery. Ellery is one of the knights of bot, and he always makes sure that the spam bots and hooligans are thrown out of chat when they need to be.
Thank you. Oh, and someone mentioned Devil as a part-timer. I love season 1, but there was a fight scene in season 2, and I'm like, you had 10 years. This is a 12-episode arc, and the fight animation is so bad. But the voice of Mao, the main character, is voiced by Josh Grell, who voices Armin in Attack on Titan, and I enjoy his voice. And just hearing him scream as Armin Attack on Titan, it's kind of funny.
Bookworm girl from our world dies and is reborn in a medieval time magical world where there is no books. So she an 8-year-old invents books. I love it.
Of course. Oh, there's also another one where like a pharmacist is transported to another world and is able to like see what's wrong, like have x-ray vision and like see what's wrong with people, and is able to like create chemicals but has to know like the structure of them or something like that, and is able to like make medicine and stuff and becomes like a merchant and all that fun stuff.
Ollie has the Team 4-Star YouTube channel up for when we go off stream.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh gosh, Team 4-Star did Dragon Ball Z, and they also did like Final Fantasy, and they had Sarah Michelle Williams. She voiced Sayaka and Madoka Magica, and she's one of the characters, and I thought that was really cool.
Oh.
And The Way of the House Husband is good. That's unfortunate.
Oh, yeah. When things are like, ooh, so close.
Yeah.
You had to do the one racism.
Yeah, it's just like, so close. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to think of examples that I can, but I'm trying to, I know Aegil and Sword Art Online is like a cool character, like the only other like decent male character in Sword Art Online, and I think he's voiced by Robert or something Seitz, Patrick Seitz, and he has a like a deep voice, and it's very nice to listen to.
Nice.
Bryce Papenbrook. I met him at a con, as I've said before, and he's cool. He voices Inosuke. And I know sometimes when he screams, people describe it as he swallowed a chicken bone and he's trying to scream.
Oh my god. Speaking of cons, have you ever done MomoCon?
No, but I've had friends that go to MomoCon.
I hear about MomoCon all the time. I've never been. I've been to Dragon Con 3 times? I've been to Dragon Con at least twice. I can't remember. I think I went 2018 and 2019. Because I haven't been back since post-pandemic.
Oh gosh, I need to talk to Natasha and figure out what our room situation is, because...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully we have the room again, but I really hope we have the room again.
Yeah.
And that's the only con I go to because I'm like, money.
Yeah.
There was one year I went to Anime Week in Atlanta, but it wasn't planned properly, so it was pretty much me and the people I went with standing around talking. And then we went to like 1 or 2 panels, and I'm like, I could have been to the Ask an Anime Character panel, but I didn't know about it. And it's really funny because the Ask an Anime panel is when there are the voice actors and they're sitting where you can't see them, but the audience is looking at a screen with all their character, like all the characters in like in a grid, and the actors can press different buttons and have a different picture appear on screen, and they like talk as those characters.
Oh, that's really cool.
And they answer questions. I can't remember which one it was, but there's one really good one where Cube, or the voice actress of Cube, is like is like taking over the panel. There's like one where she gets into an art or I can't or Cube is a they, I believe, and they get into an argument. It's like, I am indestructible, John. see, see, there was a point where I look like this, and it's them after getting attacked by a character, and then I look like this, and it's them not. It's really funny.
Well, if you swear I can't be annoying, heaven officials blessing canonically is to. Wait, it scrolled. Hang on. To canonically gay gods fight monsters. It's very much the show Supernatural, but medieval and gayer.
I feel like I've heard about that. I think Danny Mata is doing a reaction, and he's like, oh, and speaking of which, I love when Danny Mata says smooches. He's like, why don't you give him a smooch? But yeah, he was
Tarkle
talking
Owl
about
says,
that.
I remember this anime called Hikari-kun where this trans girl lives with her Yakuza family and falls in love with a guy that wants her but doesn't because transphobia and the racism and fatphobia is blech. Ugh.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Eesh. Yikes.
Oh, and I remember in Steins Gate there was a point where where there's a character that they are I'm trying to think of the correct wording. They were they're AMAB, but they like to, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the wording where it's not offensive, but they like, or I'm trying to hold on.
I hate when things are so offensive you're like, I don't even know how to talk about this without being offensive. Like
where a character, well, oh, and it also happened in Danganronpa where there was a character that was AMAB, but they were like seen as weak, so they started to wear more feminine clothing.
Okay.
And so that everyone kind of assumed they were female, but they were assigned male at birth, and they never said either way which their preferred pronouns were.
Okay.
So, and there's a Danganronpa a bridge where they're like, yep, or they have like a sign that says, or no, it's like where one of the characters like they were assigned male at birth, but we cannot say whether or not they are like how they present now, and it's just like, I don't know how to handle this. And like in the show they didn't really handle it really well. It's just
they tried to have non-binary representation, but they didn't do it well.
I think there was a word that they used where it was just like, ooh, we can't use that.
Ooh, we don't say that.
We can't say that. But I'm sorry for I'm just like, I don't want to offend anybody. I'm just like, but yeah, in Steins Gate and Danganronpa there were characters that were assigned male at birth that kind of dressed and quote unquote feminine clothing, and so but didn't, I don't know how they identified, but
as a trans person I can't tell if I hate that
Danganronpa character. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to, like, the character was cool. There was a point where they were like, oh, I want to be stronger because the bad guy, their antagonist, wanted to reveal my secret, but I want to be stronger so I can like be me. So it's just like, yeah. And then their head was crushed in by a dumbbell.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, you know these darn unaliving games, because that's what it was. These 16 characters are held up in a school, and they're told, like, if you can unalive someone and get away with it, you're free. I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
Meanwhile, I haven't been able to find actual physical copies of the Sailor Moon manga, but I found a place to read them online. So I'm like, chat, you want to read some Sailor Moon manga and be in this big video?
This giant Sailor Moon video.
Oh my god, there's a video that came across my recommendeds, and maybe somebody else, I cannot remember the name of the creator who made it. It's called A Brief Summary of Harry Potter. It is a 10-hour long video. It's 10 hours long.
I know there's a channel called Movie Flames, I think, that does a bunch of Harry Potter videos, and I watch them a lot and I really liked how they did a book versus movie comparison and had like little titles, like the first movie is like a great introduction, the second one is is like a underrated sequel. The fourth is the worst, and all that fun stuff. I despise the Danganronpa character with dissociative identity disorder. Oh yeah, there's a character that has dissociative identity disorder where they're a serial killer.
People with DID get the worst rep. I swear, I always feel so bad. It's just like,
yeah,
they're always like serial killers. Like, oh no.
Oh gosh, it just reminds me of, or I'm just trying to think of other media. I remember listening to a podcast about horror movies, and they had a discussion about LGBTQIA plus characters in horror films and how they're like villainized and stuff like that. Like in Sleepaway Camp with Angela.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
We've definitely had discussions because it's really obvious how like sexist horror movies are, because like the women always get killed first, and like they're the ones that are always objectified, and like they're all like the girl that like sleeps with a guy always dies before the girl that doesn't sleep with a guy every time. I'm throwing my trash away. I'm still here.
Yeah. Oh, and how in horror movies, like the guy, it's like a quick unaliving, but the women, it's a long drawn out chase scene where they're like, where
in their underwear.
Yeah, and it's just really drawn out, and they're being tortured and stuff, and the guy's just boom gone. But there's always the final girl that's kind of like, oh, the purity of it all. She hasn't done anything wrong.
She's not like the other girls.
Exactly. And that just reminds me of in like Japanese horror films, like Battle Royale, where it's kind of in Japan, there was a point where a bunch of kids decided to drop out of school because the education system was just a lot for them, so they dropped out and they were seen as delinquent. So there's a lot of horror movies with like high school age students that are kind of like unalived in pretty brutal ways. Like there's this one where I can't remember what it's called, but they had to play red light, green light, and if they moved, like their head like would explode into marbles.
Oh my gosh.
And the one person like won the game, but then everyone else like was unalived, and then they had to play a game of cat and mouse. And so it's just about like, it's just interesting to see the different tropes and like why that is.
Virginity as a social concept just needs to not be a thing anymore. I agree.
Yeah, it's like that.
It's a non-existent made-up thing. That's just like a thing that's like a long time ago, a bunch of old white men were like, this is how we can put people down and keep them controlled.
Mainly women. And that's not okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like in Breakfast Club where it's like if you
Yeah, Ollie's correct. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Or just if you do, you're a harlot. If you don't, you're a prude. You never win.
Yeah.
The school system stuck. Yes. Agreed.
I was homeschooled, but I went through all of schooling. I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until I was in my 20s. So it was like I got through school and was like, that's why I always struggled in school. Dang it. I'm not an idiot. You know that thing? It's like, yay.
There's a reason.
There's a reason.
And I know there's been talks of like giving kids ADHD medicine when they're still young, and that kind of messes with their brain chemistry.
Yeah, but it's also like a thing of like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I can't really say, but it is one of those things where it's like, even if I didn't go on medication younger, just knowing younger, it would have helped me understand like why I was always feeling like I was working just to like get to where everybody else was. Which just like I think would have like helped for a bunch of other reasons, but like I love the conga line of dinosaurs.
Oh yeah,
Speaking of ADHD, I just was like, they're dinosaurs.
Side note, Ollie, I'm sorry you were bullied to being homeschooled.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But here, conga line of dinosaurs, because I made the blue one the last time I was here, but I also made these two. If you want to see a video of me making these origami theropod dinosaurs, there are some on my channel. Click the pinned link. But yeah, conga line. Music, yeah. Music, yeah.
We've named them all after Modelland characters. We're so sorry.
Tookie, Creamy, and
I'm not. What was the line? Calm down, Creamy. Everything's going to be fine.
I think that's the one we wanted to put on the shirt. Oh my
Why?
gosh, creamy. And then
Creamy has to be the worst name for a character I've ever heard.
oh gosh, and and then there's the miracle.
Gabe needs to be here more as a guest star. Well, we have a lot of videos that we filmed with Gabe, and Gabe will obviously be back to continue reading Modelland once we've all have time to process.
Oh gosh, and Avery has like 10 or 9 episodes of The Simple Life, an episode of the one with the people with the prosthetic heads. I was trying to explain to my dad the show with the prosthetic animal heads and how the prosthetics
Sexy Beast.
That's yeah. Because that reminded me of Taylor Swift's song where it's like, I feel that everyone's a sexy baby, and it's just like, that's weird, Taylor, but Sexy Beast is better.
Sexy Beast is a fun show. It got really like infamous online for how like weird it was because everybody was like, "What is this show?" But honestly, like we were just sitting here being like nerds about the prosthetics, and it's honestly true. The prosthetics were good.
Yeah.
Back after 2 hours. Hi, Patrick. We're not reading anymore tonight. We were just talking to chat and decompressing because we've all had an experience. We got to page 162. We'll continue on
eventually.
Soon.
We're talking about Sexy Beasts and prosthetics.
Yeah, but I have a bunch of videos that are pre-recorded with you. Last week. When did I film that? I filmed a few videos for Fairy Tale February, and I think the next one I'm gonna post is gonna be another Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater because everybody really liked that one. Which is fun. But like, yes, I agree. Gabe needs to be here more, and Gabe's gonna be here more, which is
good.
It's okay to admit defeat. Well, it's not really defeat. I actually thought we were not going to get to 162 pages today. I definitely didn't think we were going to read 568 pages in a day. I don't think that's possible.
I would need someone to like be like, here's like, or here's $1,000. You get the next 1,000 once you're done. Like right. That's the secret, or the secret rich person whose demon has invaded the timeshare of someone's soul. If you're like, here's the money, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But my dad's cousin gave her more than she was prescribed, and it resulted in emotion. Ooh, super stunted. I remember when someone I knew in high school was taking ADHD medication, but sometimes they would go off of it because they didn't like the way they felt on it. So I don't have ADHD. I haven't taken any medication. So I'm just like brain chemistry. I'm learning new things. So I'm just like, okay, this is important information. So in the future, I don't say anything that's problematic, and it's like this, or if I say anything wrong, it comes from a place of ignorance. I'm just like, oh, I understand now.
I think the important thing is that the important thing with anything like that is that you're like, I want to be educated. That's really like, that's really the good place to be.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you're like, hey, this is actually how it is with the ADHD and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, rather than, oh, don't tell me that, because there are some times where people try to learn new information. They're just like, oh, why?
I've been on Prozac for my anxiety, Ollie, since not 11, but like 15. But Prozac is a pretty like mild. It's as far as like antidepressants go, it's a pretty like safe drug. Like it has the least like horrible side effects.
Oh, okay.
And things like that. At least in my experience. It's different for every person, obviously, but Prozac is generally seen as like a good place to start, right? Because it's it's not known, like some of them are really known for having bad side effects.
I remember when Britney Spears was talking about how her doctors, when she was still in her conservatorship, would put her on lithium.
That is, yeah, I was what?
And she's just like, they're putting me on lithium, and it's just like, they don't know the dangers, and they just kept giving it to me, and I was trying to tell them no, but Yikes. And it's just like, and I remember my sister was talking about it and like the horrible side effects, and they need to like constantly monitor you when you're taking that to make sure that nothing bad is happening, and it's just like,
oh. Oh, Ollie, it's technically Prozac is an SSRI, which stands for something. It's a type of like quote unquote antidepressant medication. Oh. It is used to treat anxiety too. So like it's not like you don't just take it for depression. Some people have both and they take it for both. I got put on it at 15. I was since diagnosed with depression, but not at that time. They were just like, here's some stuff for your anxiety.
Oh,
Have
okay.
fun with that.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember I used to watch Grimm in high school, and there was one episode where this one character was turned into like a monster creature because of valerian root, and I laughed and laughed and laughed because at the time I was on valerian root because it was seen as like a natural remedy, like kind of thing for like my anxiety. My doctor gave it to me. I was like, I think 17 at this point, because there was like a point where I was like, I don't want to take the Prozac anymore. So she gave it to me, and I was like, is this something that I can't like mix with anything else? She's like, nah, it's a glorified joint. And I was like, oh, thank you, doctor. Okay. Hi, Paulo. I'm on Prozac to keep me from killing y'all. Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh boy. Prozac is a pretty common. We finished reading for the night. We got to page 162. And we hit the point where she had rapid fire done racism, ableism, sexism, objectification of minors, and just gratuitous violence. And we were like, you know what? We've had a day. We'll come back to this one.
Yeah, we left the chapter on a good note. She just tripped over her left, or her right foot hit her left leg, and she did a text foot Tookie fall. So that's where we're at. And I'm hoping that the girl with the kind eyes comes back, because everyone likes kind eyes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that.
Not the mismatched eyes.
Oh god. Oh yeah, when like she was reading and it's just like, oh, her big forehead and her mismatched eyes. We said that at the same time.
She said it 50 times in the book.
Oh my
it's like,
gosh.
no one cares. She has arguably a thing that everybody thinks is cool, right? I have one green eye and one brown eye, and she's like, oh my god, I'm so hideous. I'm like, shut up. Shut up right now.
It's just and like the way it's described in the book, like no one else really mentions her mismatched eyes
It's
except for
only
like
her.
Yeah, and it's just is it all in her head? Is she beautiful but she just doesn't know it yet? You know,
kind eyes that clap. Yes, the eyes. She likes to say that eyes clap onto somebody else's eyes, and it's like, Tyra, how? How is that possible, Tyra Banks?
I'm just imagining someone's eyelids being like hands and just because you know there was the guy with the hand for a face.
Yeah, the hand for a face really threw me. I was like, what in the Guillermo del Toro Pan's Labyrinth? Oh my god.
She saw that scene in Pan's Labyrinth. It was like, I'm gonna make that the monster my own.
Book of the year. Yes, joking. Mismatched Eyes is the Modelland equivalent of HOB novels, and the phrase, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. I just nervous laugh nowadays. I realize that I nervous laugh. And it's just...
I feel bad, because then I'm like, oh, now it looks like I think it's funny. I don't think it's funny, but I'm vastly uncomfortable.
Exactly.
It's like he doesn't know what else to do with that.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to sit in awkward silence or have me? Because there are sometimes people say stuff and I'm just like, oh, I don't know how to process this information. I'm just gonna sit and listen. Yeah, there are sometimes people are saying that to me and I'm like, okay. And I disappear.
I should love you no matter what. Stare you down all the time. I'm not surprised she doesn't see why someone would think she's... Yeah, I can see it, but it is funny that the narration doesn't even mix up the way in which they like, she literally says it the same way every time. Big forehead and mismatched eyes.
Oh, and her hair. And there's all...
Which she calls her multiple personality hair, and we were like,
Is that ableism? It's just like... multiple I don't think that's okay.
Yeah, I'm planning on hopefully... Let's plan for like Tuesday, because Monday we have Kingdom Hearts with Maddie, and on Tuesday we can do Nancy Drew notebooks and just vibe.
With some valerian root.
With some valerian root.
Yep. Also keep in mind, unlike Modelland, which is one long book, Heaven's Official Blessing is 8 volumes long.
Wow.
Is it? Or that's the one where it's the Chinese gods that are like, to one another. Is that one? I don't know why I went like that, but they're like eyeing each other like, ooh, that's a cute god. Oh no, that's a cute god. I don't I
Can
don't
you imagine if we were just like, hey guys, what's up? Today we're gonna read War and Peace.
Oh god. Today we're gonna read East of Eden.
Oh my god. Well, it's like I ordered, and I actually ended up getting the copy of The Right Thing that I wanted, and read it on the channel, and we all had a traumatic experience. But I wanted Wishbone Frankenstein, like from Wishbone the show, but like the retelling abridged version of Frankenstein, where like Wishbone is like, I'm a little dog, and I'm going to tell you the story of Frankenstein.
Oh.
I ordered it from a secondhand bookstore that I always order from, and they sent me instead the like a college version, like textbooks version of Frankenstein. I'm like, this is not what I asked for.
Oh.
And chat was like, you could read that. I was like, I don't think I can.
Oh, side note, I remember, or it was fascinating that Mary Shelley came up with Frankenstein during oh gosh, it was like the year-long summer or something like that, because there was a volcanic eruption that sent dust all around the world, and it reflected the sun's rays, so it made everything cool. Or it was the year without a summer. It was 1804, because the ash from this volcanic eruption covered a lot of the earth and it reflected the heat away, so it was really cold. So Mary Shelley and the other Shelley, the romantic Shelley,
the husband.
Yeah, or like
Percy Shelley.
Yeah, or I know it was, or Wordsworth, Coleridge, Byron, Shelley, Keats, like the 5 main romantics. I can't remember his first name, but Mary Shelley was there, and they were just telling stories with their friends, and she came up with Frankenstein on the spot, and they were like, "Huh."
Yeah, I think they were all like, let's write our best short horror story, and that's what she wrote, and everybody was like, huh, write that, and so she did.
Oh yeah. Oh, and then there's like, it's like Frankenstein is the doctor and Frankenstein's monster is his creation, but who is the real monster?
The husband or the boy toy? No, I think the boy toy was Lord Byron. The husband was the other Shelley.
Yes. I remember all of them, unfortunately, unalived really young, except for Coleridge. And I remember apparently he was doing some substances, but then had to answer the door and talk, and he was like in the middle of writing something, and so that's the only like literature characters that I know really well.
If I can't get to it this February, I do want to get to it soon, because Ever After is a good movie.
Oh yes, I remember watching. Wasn't Rob Stark the guy with the really tight pants? What's his name?
Wait, was that the prince?
Yeah, I think the guy who played Rob Stark was the prince.
He was the prince in Cinderella 2015.
Wait, who is the prince in Ever After? I just remember.
If it's also Rob Stark, I'm gonna be like, what?
Is his name It's not. His name isn't Richard, is it?
Mm.
But I just remember the scene where Drew Barrymore's, or when she like punched her stepsister in the face, and I was like, I love this so much. And then, Heaven's Official Blushing is soft and cute as a show, but the novel is 18 plus. Richard Madden, thank you.
No sex, technically.
Then how can it be? And I'm just like 18 plus, and I'm like, oh.
I just call him Richard Madden.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. I feel like I should know better because I forgot.
Dougray Scott.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know why I mixed them up. I just remember tight pants. Rob Stark Rob Stark. What a sense to have living rent free in my. You're welcome.
The funny thing is, we all knew what he meant, and no one questioned it. We were just like, yes. That human being. Rob Stark with the tight pants.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just remember someone, or I think Richard Madden was in an interview, and they're like, "You wore really tight pants." I think it was oh gosh, my brain. It was that English talk show host that I can't remember. He hosts of
Graham Norton.
Graham Norton. Yes, I think it was on Graham Norton when that happened.
That's the only English talk show host I can name off the top of my head. So
yeah.
it's like, if it's not, I don't know.
I think Piers Morgan is. I don't remember. Drew Barrymore's wing dress was
I don't think it was ugly. A lot of the main characters thinking about how he's devoted his life to celibacy and wishing he could. This eye patch demon who shares I see. Well, I wanted to say, reading Modelland, it feels like the way teenagers like write like fan fiction. Like not that they're talking about like spicy things, but it feels like when we were all like Tumblr kids, the way that like we felt like we needed to over describe everything.
Oh god.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like the way that's like, and he lifted his perfectly clasped hand down onto the table, and it's like we don't need this many words.
But it's like, but I'm a goth. I'm deep. I know these things.
It feels like she had 3 different ways she wanted to describe everything, and she just kept everything.
And then we just never see those places again. So it's like, why?
Perry's throwing all of her body weight against the door.
Oh, Perry.
What
are we talking about? We're still talking. Or we were talking about anime, then Frankenstein, then Richard Madden, then previously we were talking about Oscar Isaac, then Graham Norton, and now we're circling back to Tumblr. Or this is like a Tumblr fanfic thing.
Yeah, I said at one point in chat that it feels like My Immortal, and people are like, My Immortal would never. Like, you're right, I'm sorry, My Immortal. God.
Oh, I never really read, or the only fanfic I've read is a fanfic of the Hunger Games where someone literally did the previous 73 Hunger Games from the perspective of like their own, or the characters. Like they're not canon, but they were so in depth and was like, this is how this person won their games. This is how this person won their game. This is what happened after the 75th Hunger Game, and it's just very in depth. And they also wrote about different it's like a what if scenario. Like what if this, or like in the Hunger Games there was the male tribute from District 4. It's like, what if he had hid in the cornucopia longer, and so it has him winning the Hunger Games. And then there was another where the girl from District 3, what if she had like played unalive, and then it has her winning the games. And then it's just an interesting progression of these characters and like bringing a personality to them, because in the movie you don't get that much personality from the other tributes and stuff. So I was just like, but they haven't like written anything recently. I'm like, no, I need to know what happens with Urchin. I need to know what happens with Nettle. I need to know what happens.
When people are writing a good fanfic and then they abandon it. It's like, no.
Why?
Why?
Oh, and they would quote like Steven Universe and stuff, and I would understand the references, and I'm like, yay, I understand.
800 years old was oh God, as a 17, 18-year-old. Is known for his beauty, but has never gotten aroused till he's 800 years old.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Or that kind of reminds me of in Lore Olympus, where they're like, Hades, how old are you? And he's like, a couple hundred years old. How old is Persephone? 18. You mean like 1800? No, just 18. And everyone's just like,
Someone did a reading of My Immortal. I can't remember who. It probably was in lockdown. Was My Immortal technically finished, or did it just kind of stop? I remember hate reading it, but I don't actually remember anything about it other than the big debate is if it was written in earnest or not. And every time I think I've made up my mind, I'm not sure again. There's half of me that's like, there's no way this is real. This is definitely a parody. Like somebody doing like a really in-depth parody of like the way a 13-year-old would poorly write a fanfic. But then there's this other part of me that's like, but they've never come forward and said anything. I feel like if you put this much work into like memeing everybody, eventually you'd be like, hey guys, remember that time I did the thing? It was me. So like there's a part of me that's like, maybe it really just is a really bad writing by a 13-year-old who grew out of it, and by the time they realized how cringe it was, everybody knew about it, and they were like, we don't say shit ever again.
We don't talk about it, we don't look at it, we just kind of...
We don't talk about Bruno, we don't talk about Fight Club, we don't talk about My Immortal. We're just moving on.
We don't talk about Bruno. Wasn't there another character named Bruno that was kind of forgotten about in another Disney movie?
Bruno. Well, there's the dog in Cinderella is Bruno. Right? There's another Bruno.
Oh.
Gabe's like, there's a dog in Cinderella.
I was talking about like more recent.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you were, but that was the only other Bruno that came to my mind, and I was like, why?
I'm sure it's like we could easily look at our phones, but the very helpful chat is here being like, it's Richard Madden, it's Oscar Isaac. Remember how in Moon Knight, I wish I could love myself as much as Oscar Isaac loved Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
In Moon Knight, or as much as as much as Poe loved Finn, but they never showed it.
Oh, in Luca they say Silencio Bruno.
And
then Natty says,
thank you.
Gabe. So like only maybe 7 years apart. Yeah, it's sort of like Once Upon a Time, where it's like it looks like there's a big age difference between these characters, but also. It doesn't. They're all multiple hundreds of years old, so it does not matter.
Oh gosh. Oh, Once Upon a Time, Rumpelstiltskin and Belle falling in love, and
Oh.
did the whole Beauty and the Beast where he's in the there's a cat. A Perry got in.
How
Did someone let Perry in?
did she open the door?
She's a velociraptor. Speaking of Jurassic Park. Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh gosh, she's a velociraptor. Oh, I remember there's one of the goofs on Jurassic Park that's like Ellie was in the electrical bunker with a closed door, and she's asking, unless they know how to open doors, but it's like, well, I could have gotten in after chasing Dr. Arnold. I don't know. But but it's just like, Ellie, it came in through a closed door.
Hi, Perry. Look, she's like, do I want to sit on the comfy cushion or do I want to sit on somebody's lap? She's like, can I get pets from here?
Oh, I petted her and she's...
Oh, no. What if Gabe doesn't want you to sit there?
It's fine.
You're in the bubble.
Oh, gosh. My sister has a cat, but my dad's allergic. So every time... And her name is River, and named after River Song from Doctor Who. But my dad's allergic, but my sister's cat loves to sit in his chair and stuff, and he loves petting her, but then he's just like, then his eyes are really red and like, I wonder what happened to my eyes. And it's like, well, you probably rubbed the cat and rubbed your face, as I'm rubbing the cat and rubbing your face, but I'm not allergic. So like, even with 800 years of celibacy, he doesn't have a huge age gap with his husband. Oh yeah, also they do not get married in the they also do get married in the first episode of the show, first 5 chapters of the novels.
Oh.
Marriage is what brings us together today.
My dad loves Princess Bride, and it's one of those movies I never appreciated as a kid, but I appreciate it as an adult.
Yes, like
right.
The ROUS has scared the heck out of me, but then I look and I'm like, that's literally a man crawling in a giant rat suit.
Yeah. Well, and also as a kid, I was like, this is stupid and weird. And now I'm just like, this is so funny. Like, this is just so, like, camp, and I love it.
And it's so quotable. Liar, liar. Oh, no, it's a witch. I'm not a witch. I'm your wife.
Yes. And there's so many people in it, too. Oh, like, everybody is in it. It's got a good cast.
Oh, God. I remember just the behind the scenes where Andre the Giant passed gas for, like, 15 seconds straight. God. And it's just like, ooh. And then I'm trying.
Princess Bride, yeah.
Inconceivable. That word. I don't think you know what it means. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to unalive.
Oh, my dad has so many quotes from that movie. It's the Inigo and Fezzik is the best ship. That is an underrated ship.
Which one is Fezzik?
The Andre the Giant, right? Or am I completely forgetting?
Oh, for a second I was like, is it the inconceivable guy? I don't remember. I'm sorry, my brain is mush.
We're all mush. Look at Perry. Perry's just like, I have no thoughts or cares in the world. I am Perry the cat. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
I was right. I was like,
Ollie.
Maybe I'm a fake fan.
Oh, okay. Good for that ship.
Our other cat, not this cat, one of our other cat, Fig, we say that she looks like an ROUS because she just does. She's got her legs are like a little short for her body, and she's got this round body, and she's like gray, and she just kind of scampers around. We're like, that is an ROUS. That is not a cat.
Oh no, this is where the ROUSs are. The rodents of unusual size. Yes, we must go. And then we just see the ROUS just crawling there. Oh, and it's like, and then she got eaten. Yeah, she got eaten, and everything's done. Are you gonna interrupt me or not? Or are you gonna let me finish? Oh, okay, just finish. Yeah, she's fine. She just got pulled out of the water and the thing got smacked on the head. Everything's fine.
My dad likes to quote, "The cliffs of insanity."
I can't remember that part. Is that the part where they're climbing up and he's like waiting for him?
That's the part where they're sailing and he's like, "The cliffs of insanity." And Wallace Shawn is just very Wallace Shawn about it. It's great.
Honestly, men that go to therapy are more attractive, actually.
Everybody should go to therapy. I think everybody can benefit from therapy.
I could, but I don't want to. So I'm just gonna internalize my emotional drama that I have in my head. But I mean, I feel like it is a problem that when I had my grocery store job, I literally spent hours for several days in a row thinking about how much I hated The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh.
And I still think about how much I don't like it. And I'm like, I feel like I need to talk about that with someone, but I also need to let that anger go. And this
That's
is
how I felt
becoming.
about Game of Thrones when it ended.
Oh
I was
my
like, I have
gosh.
an unreasonable amount of hatred for this one specific ending of this
Yes.
show, and I'm not entirely well. I know why I don't like it, but I don't know why most things that I'm like, oh, I didn't like that. I can just be like, oh well, and move on. This one I was just like, but I'm angry about it.
It's because you put in so much time and effort to all of it, and I remember, and I didn't feel, luckily I read about what happens on Wikipedia, so I was just like, oh yeah, they rushed that ending, but yeah, like Game of Thrones, I'm like, oh, okay, but The Last of Us Part 2, and I watched someone play the first game and just read about what happened in the second. I'm like, I'm so angry.
No, every time I feel like maybe I'm ready to forgive HBO, they do something like Velma. So I'm like, HBO.
Well, and they took off Infinity Train, as I complained about earlier.
They are the bad guy.
Haven't seen the gameplay last. I never played it. I just read about. I heard the gameplay isn't that great. It looks pretty, but apparently the gameplay isn't that great. And then some of the story beats, I'm just so annoyed.
Forgive me for preaching the gospel of heaven, officials blessing. I just got my copy. I love this. I would have never heard about this without you preaching the gospel. So thank you.
Luckily, I think Danny Mata is watching the anime, and he's just like, when's the gay happening? I don't understand. And then like at the very end, it's like, oh, are they in love?
That's funny.
And then the episode ends, and it's like, well, dang it. Oh, and I remember when we watched Sword Art Online, I didn't realize how much of a bromance Kirito and Klein had, and I'm like, well, now I wish Kirito and Klein had more of a bromance, but Klein turned into a womanizer, and Kirito got every single female character in that show except for like one. And I'm not talking about
for one,
or like the one bad guy that didn't fall for Kirito's allure, I guess. I don't know what. Kirito's like a decent human being, so all the female characters
girls
are
like, hey, he clears the non-existent bar.
Oh, and it's really funny because in the bloopers, there's a point in one of the seasons where a girl is talking, and Jeremy Lee, who voices Asuna, is like, I don't think you've been in the harem long enough to have an opinion.
Oh, gosh.
And so it's like, writing Winnie the Pooh short story. Aw,
that's nice. You know about the Winnie the Pooh horror movie that's coming out, right?
there's a horror movie coming out?
So it's coming out this month, but it's in theaters, so I'm not gonna be able to cover it. Dang, for a few months.
Oh my! Why are they making it a horror
because
film?
it's in the public domain now, so they can. It's called Winnie the Pooh: Blood and Honey. Yeah, it's insane. It looks insanely stupid, and I know I'm gonna have to talk about it when it comes out.
I feel you have to be the first one to talk about it when it comes out. Oh, I remember, side note, on America's Next Top Model All-Star Cycle 17, they had to create perfumes, and Allison's was called Honey Blood.
Honey Blood.
And so when you said Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, I was just like, oh, Allison was ahead of her time.
Action is just the episode. Every streaming service except Netflix, who split it into 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, because, and like they were like 15 and 16 minutes. Or episode 1 was like 20 minutes, and episode 2 was like 15 or 16 minutes.
It's bedtime for me. It's bedtime for us too. It's 10:37. We just needed decompression time, I think.
Exactly. And luckily with all these ads that Avi's about to get, she'll get 2 cents.
2 whole cents.
And also make sure to please subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, subscribe to Gabe's channel. He'll be back. We are committed to finishing reading this book.
We will.
But we just need a break. We just need a breather, and we'll come back. There you go, Avery. Hi.
I was reading Ellery, and the ending was like a wedding. It was a traditional Chinese wedding. Oh, okay. Oh, so they're wed legally. Yay, good for them.
Perry's so cute. Say thank you, Perry. I swear she knows that she's on camera.
Or she's looking at herself in camera and is like, what if I pose over here? What if I pose over here?
You guys can't see, but her little cat knees are like flopped out to the side, and her cat feet are just like, oh, we're getting down?
Oh.
That was the get that, let me down, please.
She's like, I'm offended. You talked about my cat knees. I
offended her by talking about the knees. She knows. I watch like a lot of Avery's old videos, so oh, thank you. There's 226 videos in the backlog, and I think this is stream 124 or 5, so there's a lot of content on this channel.
So I need to watch it. I was telling my dad about the videos that I'm in, and he's like, "How do I know which ones you're in?" And I'm just like, "Just look for my face."
You're in the thumbnail.
Or he's like, "I don't know how to use YouTube," and I'm just like, "Dad, you just my both my parents are like, I don't know how to use this," and then I'm like trying to help them. They're like, "What if we do this?" And I'm like, "You mean the thing that you could have actually done on your own to figure this out? Because I don't know how this works either."
Meanwhile, your dad figured it out and is watching right now, and he's like,
"Yeah."
Hey!
And I'm like, "Sorry, Dad," but I'm wearing the T-shirt that he got for me. Or if anyone or earlier or in the first stream, I was just like, "In the name of the moon, I will punish you," and I'm wearing a Punisher T-shirt he got me.
Kokski Productions said Tyra Banks is such a weird experiment from God.
Oh my gosh.
And Ellery says he put it exactly perfectly.
Oh my god. I'm Tyra, if you're watching this, we do not endorse any of the messages said in the chat. Or I don't know how to word this.
We don't hate Tyra. We just have questions. This is like what I said when we read Star Trek Corona.
Oh yeah.
Not to just like drag the author, who tragically passed away recently, but it is one of those things that's like, I have questions. This book is very sexist, and it's trying to be anti-racist, but it's doing it badly, so it's just being racist. Like, I have questions. I made it as a compliment, Miss Tyra. I mean, Tyra Banks is interesting.
I mean, hey, she created one of the most popular reality TV shows. It came out in 2003. It created the template for future reality shows. And there are still next top model shows going on around the world that are successful. I know Germany's next top model is still going, and she's had a lot of business ventures, and she's still making money. Oh, and it's really interesting because in one of the cycles, it's one of the later ones, I think cycle 20, 21, or 22, where they only had one photographer almost the entire time. And then I remember learning how he was like Tyra Banks's boyfriend at the time. Oh. And I believe the father to her child. So I'm just like, oh, they don't have that much budget, so they're having Tyra Banks's boyfriend be on the payroll.
This is Tyra Banks' world. We're all just modeling it.
Exactly. She's the reason why I wanted to like model, but then I look at the fashion industry and I'm like, no.
Yeah. It's like that meme that's like, but it's like, it's all model land, always has been.
Oh no. Oh gosh, with the two astronauts.
I love Gabe looking at the book while saying she has many business ventures and she's still making money. This is not one of the things that made her money. She didn't even make money off of me. I bought it from somebody else who had it secondhand. It was just like, you want this book? And to their credit, it does look like it's been read at least once. So
there's like a red mark. So there's at least been like a marker that's been there's like a red mark. So someone's had a red marker near it while reading, maybe.
I like to think that someone bought it to review it online and then sold it to someone who reviewed it online, who then sold it to me.
I mean, there's just gonna be like a small, there's gonna be a playlist that Tyra has of people talking about Modelland. There's gonna be like one more entry at the bottom of this like 4 person list. Life is a runway, and all the men and women merely models. And
I've seen every video Avery's made, minus the Piglet Valentine vid, which I'll watch soon enough.
Oh gosh, Piglet Valentine.
Yeah, there's a Winnie the Pooh Valentine special that I covered because I sat down to cover National Treasure, did the intro to National Treasure, and then logged into Disney Plus and was like, ooh, I want to do this instead. So I did that instead. It was pretty funny. I need to do more Winnie the Pooh. I found more episodes of Welcome to Pooh Corner, which is like that horrible 80s, everybody's in these like mascot costumes and all the characters have these dead unblinking eyes.
Oh gosh, I feel like I've seen that at some point, but I can't remember. I remember there was a movie where Tigger was trying to find his family members, but the first half of the movie was, I think, about Piglet, and then Tigger just goes up to a tree and is like, "Where's my family?" And everyone's like, "We're your family." And I'm like, wait, this movie. And even when I was younger, I was like, wait, this movie doesn't even talk about Tigger that much. What is happening?
Yeah, Piglet is my son. He's my favorite. He's so small and anxious. I've always related to Piglet.
Oh.
Okay, but the excitement I had the first time I commented and Avery replied. I try to reply to as many comments as I can, because, like, the channel's still small enough that I can usually do that. I'm sure I missed some of them, but, like...
Oh, gosh. Soon Avery's going to become famous, and she's not going to look at a single one of your comments, and she's going to be like, make sure to buy my new Avery Smize water, because... and this is a product placement, and it's just like, water for they who are, and for those who are not, do not drink this water, because they are not part of my world. I don't know.
I'm open to doing sponsorships if it's something that I actually think is good. I got my first, like, bogus, not bogus, like, saying that the company is bogus, but just, like, one of those, like, hey, do you want to be a, do you want to do an ad read for our online casino? And I'm like, no, but thank you for asking. I appreciate being asked.
I remember, oh gosh, for this website called Swag Bucks, where sometimes you can play games to make money, essentially. Some of the advertisements are so weird because they have like a scene, but they like dub over it, and it's just this person who's like from a call center and is like, oh hi, have you downloaded our like Bingo Bash game? And the person's like, oh yes, I love Bingo Bash, I made a lot of money, but the lip slap do not match. And I'm just like, wait, was this a commercial that is dubbed over or something? So it's just really looking funny at him like, why?
Ellery, that's cool. I appreciate you getting any mock-up. So we played this Nancy Drew game, and there's this character named Jane who is insufferable, and we hated her. So much so that we now say when we don't like another character that they are so many Janes in the trench coat. We use that as a metric to decide how bad other characters are. So Ellery has volunteered to get me to do a mock-up for a design for a t-shirt that's like 3 little chibi Janes in a trench coat for like a t-shirt / mug / whatever.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like it's a very like specific joke, but we all appreciate it.
They can and
going.
CL is 20 Janes in a trench coat.
We're actually gonna get off. We were just chit-chatting as we process what we've been through today. Gabe will be back to read more of the book soon, I'm sure. You'll see more videos with Gabe soon. As soon as I can get them edited.
And it was nice to meet all you. Thank you, Paulo. It was nice to virtually meet you as well.
Yeah, Gabe is great, guys. Subscribe to Gabe. Go see more Gabe.
Even though none of my videos are like this. But I suggest the Jurassic Park videos and maybe some of the Digimon stuff.
Alright, well, we'll let you guys go. Since it's almost 11 and you also have to probably go home at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just going to be like, are you being held hostage?
No.
Like, yes, I'm being held in a tiny closet. Let me out.
This is me being held prisoner for 6 hours, but it was actually really fun.
It was really fun. I'm excited and scared to read more of it.
Oh, well, I mean, we still need more. We have more body horror, more gore. It's going to be so much fun.
Probably more racism.
Reverse sexism.
Oh, gosh. Perry.
Everyone's hearing banging. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, guys. That one Samsung, like the lip flaps match, but it was clearly not their voices. I do vaguely know what you're talking about. I'll have to look it up. But thank you guys for hanging out with us twice today. We did 2 streams in one day, which I think is a channel first.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, we will see you soon. Modelland has a playlist now, so for those of you who want to get all caught up on the story before next time, it's there.
It's there. It'll be there. Tell your friends.
Good night, guys. We appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.